Chicago Bears discovered last year just how difficult defending a championship can be. They were toppled off their throne in the divisional playoffs and approached this season with determination and anger. The Bears won their first 2 games in the vengeful manner that had made them champions, establishing themselves once again as the class of the NFL. And when the replacements were summoned, they too maintained the momentum that kept Chicago's record unblemished for Mike Ditka and their philosophical followers. The attitude of New Orleans fans for years mirrored the underachievements of their floundering football team. But the arrival last season of new head coach Jim Mora signaled a reversal in the fortunes and spirits of the Saints. A winning attitude was instilled, and the forecast for this season was understandably bright. New Orleans split their first 2 contests, and then the replacement stepped in and performed admirably, relishing their time in the sun. For their appreciative owner, Tom Benson. The New Orleans Saints are at Soldier Field in Chicago to play the Bears. We are live from that spot on a perfect day. Just ideal playing conditions and a good crowd on hand. Good afternoon, I'm Pat Summerall. Well, they say the strike is over. That may be or that may be not. But for whatever the case might be, this will be the last game for the replacement teams, for now at least. They know that. They have to have some sort of a change in attitude knowing that going in. With me, of course, my colleague John Madden. John, with those facts in mind, with all the turmoil, what kind of contest do you explain?
I'll tell you, I'm glad it's going to be over, I think, as everyone is, but I think today will probably be as good as it can get, because both coaches say that 2 things. That one, they've had them now for 3 weeks, so now they should know about what they're doing, and they're going to get about as good as they can right now. Also, they know it's their last game. So they're going to play like heck. They're going to play as well as they can because they know everything's at stake. The interesting thing to me is that the New Orleans Saints have had 14 players cross the line. The Bears have had no players cross the line, and the Bears are favored. And I think that that's a real thing for a guy like Mike Ditka and the job that he and his staff have done, because today is going to be a big job. His starting quarterback is Mike Hohenson. Last night he informed him that he can't go today. So he has to start a backup quarterback, Steve Bradley. So if the Bears are going to do it, they're going to have to do it with that defense.
The Bears will start off with the wind at their back. Tim Lasher will kick it off in the direction of Michael Adams, number 40. He's having difficulty. That's the second time the ball is blown off the tee. That would be the only thing that might be a weather factor in today's game. The presence of the ever-present wind in Chicago by the shores of Lake Michigan. Now he's got somebody to come up and hold it for him. Lasher set to kick. A good crowd, not a sellout by any means, but they are still arriving. And a lot of people here. Underway. It will be Adams about 2 yards deep in the end zone. Shy of the 20, almost lost the ball, got it back. John Forcade is the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. He'll be facing this defensive line: McInerney, Tifa Tiller, Jim Altoff, and John Narns. Those linebackers: Bell, January, and Jay Norvell. In the secondary, Bruce McCray, Steve Trimble, Mike Stoops, and Egypt Allen. Forcade, collegiate quarterback at Ole Miss, has been idle for a while. Wide Beverly for a half yard. Tifa Tiller on the stop with help from Bell. Forcade, the quarterback, Dwight Beverly, and Jeff Rottenberger, the running backs, Eric Martin and Stacy Dawsey, the wide receivers. Darren Gilbert, James Campen, Philip James, Henry Thomas, Ken Kauplin, and Malcolm Scott. up front. 2nd and 9 from the 20. Beverly and Rottenberger behind Forcade. They show him 2 tight ends. Beverly again. Hit after a gain of a couple. All of 3. Jay Norvell on the stop. One thing about the Bear defense, John, no matter who's wearing the Bear colors, it's going to be an aggressive, attacking defense.
Well, that's the thing. You know, the Bears were #1 in defense when the strike started. And they went out on a strike, and these guys came in, and they not only maintained being #1, but they really improved upon the statistics.
Okay, quick count. Saints will have a first down. Eric Martin, the receiver. Gain of 9. This is quite a story, John Forcade. He hasn't taken a snap in a game in the last 5 years.
That's why he said when they contact me and said, look, there's a strike, we need a quarterback, he said, what the heck do I have to lose? I haven't played. He said, I have confidence. I think I can play in this league. He said, and I need an opportunity. This is what he was looking for, this chance.
And they think he can play in this league. Beverly behind the line by Mike Stoops. -1. Here's the book on Forcade.
Well, you know, as you see, he's been around, but he just hasn't played. He hasn't taken a snap. He was up in Canada. He was with the USFL. He was with a couple of camps. He was with Arena Football. Never played quarterback in Arena Football. He said once he covered a kick. Said he had to jump over a penalty box, and he ran down under a kickoff. That's the kind of guy John Forcade is.
Tough. 2nd and 11. Rottenberger with the man in motion. This is Beverly again, and the running game has produced very little for the Saints so far. John Norris was the first man there. Bruce McRae to help out. A loss of 2 more.
You know, Dwight Beverly last week, as you see, had this big week. He carried the ball 35 times. And I don't think that they're going to be able to do that today against this Bear defense. I think if they are going to move the ball, they're going to have to do it a little more through the air.
3rd and 12. Right now, they're operating against the wind. They lead the league in 3rd down conversion. This will be a tough one. Forcade. That won't be enough for the first. Stacey Dawsey made the catch. Forcade also. John was talking about Mike Hohensee not being able to play because of a bad knee. Forcade has a bad knee as well.
Yeah, in fact, this week on Monday, he was on crutches, but he didn't miss a day of practice. He said, I'm okay, I can run to my right, I just can't run to my left.
Good kick by Frank Harris. By Barnhart, beg your pardon. Frank Harris is a deep back to Chicago, and the Saints are down in a hurry. Good punt by Barnhart, who Jim Mora, Saints coach, thinks has a chance to play as well, just like Forcade. 0-0 in the first at Soldier Field in Chicago. You just heard the last strains of Happy Birthday, and that was for the Bears head coach, Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka's 48 years old today. Who else has a birthday today?
George C. Scott for one, Martina Navratilova for another.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good company. There is the backup quarterback. He's only had 1 week of practice. It's Steve Bradley. For the Bears, 1st and 10 at their own 32. Chris Brewer. And that's the Saint defense that the Bears will be operating against. Bruce Clark and Tony Elliott, 2 veterans, and Pat Swoops, the front 3. McCoy, Leach, Rowe, who played at one time with the Dallas Cowboys, and Joe DeForest, the 4 linebackers. Adams, Sutton, Derek Taylor, and Antonio Gibson in the secondary. They got 3. It's 2nd and 7.
288! Back! 288! Back!
Lekai Hamuli. Tony Elliott made the stop. The Bear offense. Bradley, the quarterback. Chris Brewer, Lekai Hamuli, Two wide receivers, Knapsick, Glenn Kozlowski. Up front, Oliver, Wojciechowski, Roddenhauser, Rolick, John Arp, and the tight end is Don Kent, whose father played for the Bears.
Yeah, there ought to be some kind of award for this Bear team. It has to be an all-name team, or more syllables or something than any team in the history of the NFL.
It is a challenge. That's Kent on the move. That's Brewer with the ball. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Bill Rowe. No gain. We'll bring up a third down situation. Pardon me, a fourth down situation.
Here it is. You see, the Bears are trying to get the motion coming this way, then get back outside in a pitch to the other side. The Saints don't go for it. Boom, they get penetration. Two guys right down the line, and that brings up the punting situation.
That's Kevin Brown back to do the punting. And Eric Martin back deep for the Saints. Not bad. Martin on the move. Gets away from one, knocked out of bounds by the same guy he juked. Jay Norvell came back to make the stop. 0-0. 45-yard punt. Return of 11, so they net 34. 9:28 left first quarter. Right by the shores of Lake Michigan. A beautiful day for sailing, or flying, or football. Whatever you like. We got it all in your neighborhood.
Or just riding around.
Walking around.
Walking. Jogging.
I don't know. Yellow blitz. That's right, Beverly. And Jay Norvell made the stop. Like Ditka said yesterday, we're going to come after him. We're going to blitz.
Well, that's the thing that they do. You know, they're going to go in there and they're going to blitz. And I think that they've blitzed more. I think they've blitzed more with these replacement players than they have with their regular team. And I think that's a pretty good move. Norvell was just up in there. That was more of a read and a penetration. But they had 8 guys up in the line of scrimmage, press the offense.
Second and 14. Forte looked to his right, threw to his left for Stacy Dawsey, and it was almost complete. It was a good throw.
Intended for Stacy Dawsey was incomplete.
I'll tell you, I think the Chicago Bear staff has done a heck of a job with these guys, taking them here, and the offense, the defense, putting it together the way that they've done. You know, and last week they traded Doug Flutie, and I don't think that was as much the quarterback or what's happening now. I think that was more that Jim McMahon is healthy and should be back next week.
There's the blitz again. It's picked off by the Bears, John Norris. They're trying to set up a screen, and it just wasn't there. Forcade under heavy pressure.
Now, I'll tell you, there's something. John Norris played with Forcade in arena ball. In fact, John Norris called him up this week and asked him how he was. And he said, I'm a little sore. He said, well, if you play, you're going to be more sore. So now he goes back. He's going to throw a screen pass, and who does he throw it to? He throws it to John Norris, his arena ball teammate. I'll tell you, that's a heck of a deal.
Maybe he just thought he looked familiar.
He was just looking for anything, I think.
That was Steve Trimble that really put the heat on Forcade. First and goal from the 9 for the Bears. Bradley, the quarterback. Kent was the man in motion. Brewer's the ball carrier. He is hammered at the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet, and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe got another one. Joe DeForest.
You know, an interesting thing, Pat, that the Bears are doing is they're starting motion one way. See, they're putting a motion here, making it go here, thinking the ball's going here to get moving, and then running back against the motion. Most time when you go in motion like that, you follow that tight end. See, they get the safety going over there, then they pitch back and come back to this side. Of course, the defense was still there. They didn't leave.
Second and goal. Derek Taylor on a stop, but he got inside the 5 to about the 2.
Yeah, Steve Bradley, the quarterback, has plays all over his body. He has them on his arm, look, his wrist. He has them underneath that towel, and he has them numbered. Then they give him a number. Then he looks at his wrist or underneath the towel. I think the wrist plays that he's looking at now are the goal line plays. I think the ones under the towel in the front are the regular plays.
Second, third and goal from the 2. Confusion. Flags go flying, and Bradley can go nowhere. Maybe he should go to the towel instead of the plays on his sleeve. Ball is back at about the 7-yard line, and the flags are everywhere.
Well, you know, it's tough because Mike Hohensee practiced all week, and they knew that his knee wasn't good, but they thought he'd be able to play.
Offense, penalty refused. 4th down.
Ball's back at about the 5. Lasher will come in.
So then last night he said that he didn't feel he could, so then Steve Bradley had to go. And as you can see, it doesn't look like Bradley's prepared to pass too much.
Hohensee was the holder, but he's not holding. It's Sean Payton who's doing the holding. It'll be 22 yards out. Got it on the reflex. Somebody got a hand on it, but nevertheless it went through. It's 3-0 Bears. 3-0 Bears. Lasher set to kick off if he can get the ball to stay on the tee. Wind has diminished just a little bit.
Lasher ought to be pumped up after getting that a field goal off the bounce. When you get one partially blocked and still get 3 points, that must make you feel good. Then you don't care what happens. Then when it blows off, you just giggle. Now he'll have a holder come in there and hold it, get it all tilted, tell him not too much pressure. That's it, I got it.
Don't bear down. That's Bruce McCray that's holding.
And don't flinch either. You don't want that guy to flinch.
Will be Adams again. 5. Bears down in a hurry. Fumble, and they get the fumble recovered. There's a guy who did everything. Egypt Allen. He made the hit, caused the fumble, recovered the fumble.
And he was the first guy down there. You know, being the first guy down there is the most determination. And then he reached right in there with his left hand. He was going for the ball. He knocked it out. Look at that agility. Keeps his hands in the ground, bounces back up, jumps in the ball. That's what you call a triple dipper. First guy down, make the hit that causes the fumble, then jump on it, then take the ball home with you.
And make it 1st and goal. The Bears already lead 3-0.
What a way to do it. That one and the interception by a defensive lineman.
1st and goal at the 8. Touchdown. Chris Brewer. From Bradley.
That was Bradley's first pass, and it was an option. They faked one way, came out on a bootleg to the left, and found Brewer in the end zone. Watch it. See, fakes out to the right, bootlegs left, has the option, run or pass, sees Brewer all open, wide by himself, just gives it to him for the touchdown.
And Reggie Sutton was the man who hit him right at the goal line, and Reggie is the man who's down.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. You see the quarterback here, he's going to fake the ball out here, then come out bootleg. Now, he can either run or pass. See, he has that option. That puts the defense in the bind. Now, watch him as he fakes here to the remaining back going to the right. Now he comes out here to the left. You see Beverly is wide open. The defense comes up in the quarterback. That leaves Beverly open, so he takes that option to pass.
Special teams. The Saints had woes last week. Fumbled one snap. Missed 2-point after touchdown attempts. One botched punt. And Jim Morris said, I feel better about that aspect of my game. But all that has to do with kicking. For an NFL update, let's send you back to New York and Brent Busberger.
Well, Pat, the Los Angeles Rams score against Atlanta. Steve Dills with the swing pass out here to John Francis from 2 yards out. And it's the Rams 7, the Falcons nothing. Let's go back now to Pat and John.
And the Bears waiting for the injured New Orleans Saint Sutton to be carried off or helped off. There he is. And again, he got hit right at the goal line, trying to make this tackle, keep the Bears out of the end zone. That's one of the things Mike Ditka was saying yesterday. These guys are getting in better shape. They're getting quicker. They're hitting a little bit harder. And as a result, he thought there might be more injuries.
Let's watch that field goal the Bears got. The outside guy goes for him. The inside guy comes in free, tips the ball, and it still flops in for the 3 points. So this is how the Bears got their first 3 points. See, he steps for the outside guy. Here comes the inside guy free. Tap, he gets the ball, but it didn't go back at him. It went through for the field goal. But then, of course, that led to the kickoff and the fumble recovery and the touchdown, and now we're at the next extra point.
Which Lasher will try with Payton holding. The Bears lead it 10-0. 6.5 minutes left, 6:32 in the first quarter. The Bears 10-0.
Eric, smile!
Eric, smile. Eric waved to Daddy. Phooey. Since they got that little RCA camcorder, I get no peace. It's so easy. He takes it everywhere. Dad! Oh well, I guess someday I'll look back at this and laugh.
Finally, a VHS camcorder so small, so easy to use, it doesn't miss a thing. Trust RCA to bring it to you. The Small Wonder VHS from RCA.
With Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
5 yards deep in his end zone. That's the second one he went bounce. And they'll just down this one very wisely. Let's check some of the other scores. Jeff Kemp is quarterbacking Seattle. They lead Detroit 14-0. Eagles over Green Bay. Pittsburgh 7, Indianapolis 0. John Stallworth made his 500th reception in that game. Miami 10, the Jets 0. The Jets struggling with their replacement squad. 3-3 Minnesota and Tampa Bay. First down Saints from their own 20. John Forcade, the quarterback. Bears again showing blitz. Beverly tries to get left. Michael Stoops made the hit that brought him down. I think you're right, John. It's going to be a long day for the Saints if they continue to try to run the ball.
Well, that's the thing. You know, when you run on first or second down and then you don't make any yardage, then you have to throw on third down. You're playing right into the hands of this Bear defense because they are going to press you. They're going to pressure you. They're going to put 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage and bring everything at you if they know you have to pass.
Second and 8. Forcade. Got a man open who fell down. Mike Waters was the intended receiver. He was open. Forcade again under pressure.
Well, you're always going to get pressure when you play this team. But he knew. He saw his guy open. He had Waters open in the middle there and just didn't get it to him.
Greg Fitzgerald applied pressure.
Waters looked like he was going through a swamp or something. Artificial turf. Who would have thought?
Forcade comes out and slides for a first down at the 35. James camping. Saw a body come flying out just at the end.
I tell you, he does a good job, Forcade. We're going to see a stunt here in the middle where they cross. Now, as they cross, Forcade goes back, and he sees that hole right there and just takes it. Watch the cross in the middle. You see the tackles are crossing there. Now watch. Now right here he starts to run. Look at that big hole he sees right there.
This is Beverly. The ball is loose. And they're saying it was down. Bruce McCray made the hit. Pick up a 15 by Beverly.
Now here's one. When you get this type of thing, instant replay isn't going to do anything because you can see he's already down, but you have to know when the whistle blew. And the whistle blew before that ball came out of there.
First and 10. There's the get showing blitz. Beverly slides to the outside and gets nothing. Maybe a yard pickup. They're right at midfield. Jim Mora. Seattle now 21-0 over Detroit. Cleveland 7-0 over Cincinnati. You just get the feeling in talking to Jim Mora that it's imminent. The Saints are going to be a good football team and they're going to be winners. Okay, under pressure again. As Mike Waters. It might be a little bit short of the first down. A gain of 9.
You know, Mike Waters looked like on that play, had he been able to stay in bounds, he could have scored a touchdown on it because there was no one there in front of him. Watch him here. He catches the ball here. There's the defensive back. He's type-roading down that sideline, and there was no one in behind him. You see he's just short of the first down, 1 yard. Get that right foot 1 yard away.
Third to foot. Rodenberger picked up 3, got the first down, stopped by Mike January.
Jim Mora was telling us last night that he had Rodenberger in the USFL, and he said he wasn't a starter, he was just a backup guy. He said he's a good blocker, and he said short yardage, he'll get you half a yard or so. So that's it. That's his specialty, what we just saw there. You need a foot or so, give it to Rodenberger up the middle.
And he got it. First down, Saints at the Bears 39. Forcade back to Beverly. And Beverly, number 37, down to about the 37. Jim Altoff made the stop. Picked up 2.
There's Mike Ditka on his birthday. Got those sunglasses going, the rope hanging down the back. See, that's in case you get excited and you start shaking your head and the glasses fall off. They hang on. They hang on around your neck.
At least you know where they are. Second down. They need 8. Beverly to about the 34, perhaps. Bruce McCray on the stop. He picked up 2.
You know, talking about sunglasses, a report here in Chicago, and yesterday we were hearing the Bear regular players were practicing in the morning with Coach Mike Ditka, is that Jim McMahon is healthy and will be back next week and may not start, but will be on the active roster next week. And as I said, I think that's the reason they traded Doug Flutie last week, not because of what happened in replacement football.
Look out, John Forcade. Good catch. Stacy Dawsey. Forcade really took a lick. Bruce McCray.
I'll tell you, Forcade, we knew was injured last week. He had that injured knee. In fact, he was saying last night that part of his ligament is torn, but that looked like that could be something in the arm or shoulder. He gets that from the backside and gets sandwiched from the front side.
And the guy who hit him also got hurt, Tifa Tiller. Forcade had a bad knee, as John said. But that doesn't look like a knee problem.
No, Forcade is one of the guys that Jim Morris said has made his team. He said if we go to 49, Forcade is going to make the team. He said if it stays at 45, Forcade will make this team because he feels he needs a third quarterback.
He may not now.
Well, he'll be in the IR.
Tim Reardon, number 14, is scheduled to take his place.
Let's watch. You see, he gets the pressure from the back, and then as he gets hit from the back, he gets knocked into the pressure coming from the front side. So he gets the sandwich, and it looks like it's his right elbow.
Tell you what, if you go back, that's a heck of a catch that Stacey Dawsey made.
And then you wonder how John Forcade could even find Dawsey in that thing with that front and backside pressure. I'll tell you one thing, he is a tough guy. I mean, we were talking to him, and John Forcade has an attitude of a linebacker. I mean, he's not like, you think of some, they call him, those fancy names and, for quarterbacks and wide receivers and all that. He's not that type of guy.
Well, we were talking to his brother, Keith Forcade, and asked him about John Forcade's toughness.
John's a tough individual. This is the chance John been waiting for 5 years. And now it's been long overdue. And there's only one way you're going to carry John off the field. That's on 4 wheels on a stretcher. That's the only way.
Well, no stretcher involved. But they had to help him off, and Reardon is the quarterback now. Beverly in motion. Went back to throw. Escaped from a couple, and he's got some room to run. And he runs out of bounds inside the 20. And now for another NFL update. Let's take you once again back to New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, as you know, with a field goal kicker, all some of them needs an opportunity. Van Tiffin, formerly of Alabama, got a shot with Tampa Bay. He just nailed a 50-yarder, tied Minnesota at 3. He's 3 for 3. Pat, he may wind up making a team someplace. Let's go back to you.
Well, of course, he played for Ray Perkins at Alabama. So that might have a positive effect.
You always like to keep a kicker you know from somewhere.
Some confusion for the Saints. Reardon wasn't sure. He heads for the sideline.
There's a timeout on the field.
Everybody will be back next week, all the regulars. And this is what you'll see here on CBS. First of all, the NFL Today. That begins at 12:30. The Bears will be at Tampa Bay, Dallas, Philadelphia, San Francisco, New Orleans, Green Bay, Detroit, Atlanta against Houston, and St. Louis, and the New York Giants. That's next week's schedule.
We're going to be down there in Tampa Bay with Chicago again. It's something, we've done, like the last 8 games that we've done, we have never seen the Bears lose.
And we don't see many people score against them even.
Yeah, remember that Super Bowl year, we did like 4 or 5 games, and we never saw a score against them. And, of course, that was the year that I think was a great year for the Bears, obviously, but it was a great year for football. I think 82 and that strike affected it, and then I think the Bears and their personality brought it back. Here's John Forcade. He looks like he's trying to stretch that arm out or warm it up.
We don't have
or
a
just
report.
test it.
That doesn't look like he could do it right now. That looks like it hurts.
I don't know, but it sure looks like he wants to do it. Yeah, he said no. That last one hurt. That last one was a deciding thing that he said, no, that doesn't work. That part doesn't work today.
He was an outstanding high school athlete in the New Orleans area. He went to Ole Miss and broke many of Archie Manning's records when he was there. Beverly with no place to go. Steve Trimble was the first man there. A gain of a yard.
White Beverly's thinking, where am I supposed to run? Watch his defense. It comes right down the line. everywhere he looks, he's going to see a black jersey. He looks to the outside, there's one. Inside, more one. The only thing he can do is run it out of bounds and up into the stand. You say, where is the hole? There's no hole there.
3rd and 6. A minute to go in the first quarter. Bears leading 10-0. Rotenberger is the lone setback. He comes out of the backfield. Reardon throws. Away. Eric Martin was the intended receiver. There's Florian Kemp, the new Saint kicker. Went to Penn, played at Houston, and he gets down for a very close look at what he's doing.
Yeah, we've seen him over the years. He's one of those head-down guys. Get your head down as close to the ball as you can get it. Get in the stance, then get all bent over there.
Reardon's a holder. Is the man who blocked it, and those troubles on special teams for the New Orleans Saints continue.
But I think the Bears are the type of teams that make those things happen. They're a pressure team, as it doesn't make any difference if you're on offense or if you're kicking. They're going to try and break someone loose. They get pressure right up the middle, and it looked like Kemp just didn't get that ball up very high.
He didn't. T. Fatiller in a celebration. The word from New Orleans, by the way, is it is a bruised right elbow for Forcade, but they expect him back. Pass picked off by the Saints. Eric Mack.
You know, Steve Bradley had a pretty good idea, and it looked like he had the guy deep, but he took too much off it. On something like this, and you get a defensive back like Mack, who can play, who is a player in this league, you can't throw it short. That thing has to be let out where either his guy gets it or no one gets it. But it looked like he just laid that thing up there, and he left it up there too long.
And as you say, Mack can play. 2 turnovers for New Orleans. Now 1 for the Bears with 36 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 10-0. Back to Beverly. Beverly this time gets it turned upfield and picks up 7. Egypt Allen made the hit that stopped it.
White Beverly's saying, finally, this started to look more like it. He was wondering where the holes were. He had some last week. You know, we said he carried the ball 35 times and had a big day. In fact, he's the leading rusher on this Saint team, regular or irregular.
And even after the day that he had last week, when we talked to him, he said, I didn't feel I had a good day. Carried the ball 35 times. That's the end of the first quarter. At Soldier Field in Chicago, the score is the Bears 10, the Saints nothing. Starting the second quarter is the Bears 10, the New Orleans Saints nothing. 5 first down for the Saints in the first quarter. 1 for Chicago. The special teams have done it, and the defense for the Bears. 2nd and 3. Beverly again. He'll have the first down, but there's also a flag on the play. January made the stop.
Well, and John Forcade is back in there at quarterback. So whatever it is, he worked it out.
That's amazing. I know we have seen the last of him for the day.
You know, he's one of those guys that has that linebacker
Defense,
mentality.
number 97, offside, 5-yard penalty, makes it a first down.
In fact, you know, he was saying, I kind of like this stuff. We come in and play in football, then if the NBA has a strike, we'll go play basketball. Hockey, we'll go knock a puck around. Whoever goes on strike, we'll go play in that league. And I think he's that type of guy who would. I think he'd go play hockey, be a goalie.
All the guys were saying what a great leader he was, in addition to his toughness and his ability. Well, he can throw it. Martin, the receiver. Egypt Allen made the stop.
This is the thing. He's just going to drill this thing in on a slant pass. You see, Martin comes down. Now, he's a regular. He's a starter for the Saints. He runs about a 5-yard slant. Forcade just watch him all the way. Boom, zips it in there to him.
Rotenberger is the lone setback. Forcade back to throw again. For Eric Martin, incomplete. Bruce McCray was the defender.
Yeah, and McCray fell down on that one. Had Forcade been able to get the ball there, that's a touchdown. Because watch, as Martin makes that turn there, watch McCray fall down. He trips. Martin catches that ball. The score is 10-7.
Second and 10. The ball carrier. Jim Altoff was the first Bear there. A loss of 3.
Hey, one thing you can't do is you can't sweep. You know, you always think of blitzing as going after the passer, but they're also run blitzes. And that's what the Bears are doing. They're blitzing, and they're taking every gap along the line of scrimmage. Beverly's trying to sweep. He can't cut back because they're inside him, and he can't outrun them because they haven't contained on the outside.
3rd and 13. The 2 wide receivers, wide right, Forcade chased. Evades one man, but not another. Lost the football. When he was hit, Saints get it back. Bobby Bell, whose father was a great player, with Kansas City, made the hit.
I'll tell you, Forcade really takes a beating back there because he's the type of guy who's going to stand in there. Now watch it. The Bears are making adjustments to a formation. They're going to try and hit those gaps just as the ball snaps. They get one guy free. He doesn't get him. Now Forcade tries to step up, and as he does, there's Bobby Bell filling that hole.
Rotenberger made the recovery. Himt is going to try again from 49 yards. Reardon hold. Good. 48 yards officially makes the score the Bears 10, the Saints 3. 10-3. When it's 48 yards away, you have time to celebrate and demonstrate.
Isn't it funny how no one ever talks to a kicker, but when he kicks one, how everyone tries to help him? I mean, everyone's turning their body and twisting and going like that, but no one ever talks to those guys.
Not unless they tell you you're gone.
Yeah.
Lawrence White on the return for the Bears. And he fights his way out to about the 26. Derek Taylor made the stop. Just to summarize what's happened so far, 2 New Orleans turnovers have led to 10 points. And the 1 Chicago turnover, the interception, resulted in New Orleans 3. Saints special teams have had a field goal blocked and a kickoff fumble.
But they just put a field goal through.
From 48 yards out.
A new kicker and a new holder.
Inside
Himuli,
the ball carrier, stopped by Larry McCoy. Steve Bradley, the Bear quarterback. He was drafted in 1986 in the 12th round by Cincinnati, but never showed up, never reported. One of the Bear scouts found him and said, this guy can play.
You see where he's finding the play? It's underneath the towel in the front. See, they have all the numbers. They signal in a number. He looks it up on the sheet and calls it in the huddle.
2nd and 7. Bradley is down. Saint blitz by Joe DeForest. That's what the first sack. Excuse me.
Steve Bradley's saying, I looked at that. It was number 12, but on number 12, who blocks Joe DeForest, number 55, coming from my backside? They didn't think of that. They gave him the play. That's Ed Hughes who's signaling the play to him now. He's the offensive coordinator of the Bears. And he's signaling in plays and numbers. And Bradley's trying to read. I bet that's a run.
3rd and 16. I think you're probably right.
Probably a draw.
Probably. Kamuli. That Swoops made the stop. Kevin Brown will come on to punt. One of the Saints limping off. Seattle 21, Detroit 7 now. Lions just scored on a 5-yard pass. Todd Harns to Dan Bradley. They say this guy is one of the best snappers that Mike Ditka said he's ever seen. For that reason, he might make the squad. But bouncing toward the end zone. And the Saints scramble. Flag is down. They're saying touchdown, but nobody else hit. Reggie Sutton is the man who blocked it.
I got defensive holding on number 29, New Orleans, in the end zone. It's a 10-yard previous spot foul and a first down.
I don't know how they could hold in the end zone because it had to be a loose ball.
Well, if they're already in the end zone, you can hold.
I don't think that's right. I think they better talk that one over. It's a loose ball. There's no defense. He's going to re-explain it.
Number 29 grabbed the kicker and held him in the end zone, preventing him from recovering. We got a holding foul, 10 yards from the previous spot, and a first down.
What they're saying on the loose ball after the block that they held the punter. Now the punter's going to recover it, and they held him there so they could recover. Now that's a bad call. That should be a touchdown for the Saints. The punter has it blocked, so now they're going for the ball. I don't care what they explain to Jim Mora. He ought to tell him, like Sutton says, that's a bunch of baloney. He's going for the ball. They go to tackle him. They'd already blocked the punt. That should be a touchdown. Now, that's a goofy rule. There's no way that on that play the Bears should get the ball back first down.
The holding call is only a 5-yard penalty. We'll bring it back 5 yards, but it's still a first down for Chicago.
That may be the right rule, but it's wrong. It's fourth down. The punt's blocked. Right now, there's a free ball. Now when he goes to recover it there, that they go to tackle him. And now they recover it. I think you can do that.
If he's going for the ball, I'm trying to tackle him. I don't know if he's got it or not.
That's exactly right. That's a dumb rule.
Kamuli trying to get to the outside, does get out of bounds after a gain of 3.
Yeah, how you can end up fourth down, have a punt blocked, and get first down out of it, that's unfair.
Second down and 7. Ball's in the Bear 30. They lead 10-3.
I'll tell you, look at that 93-16. That's more of a thing for the Bear defense and special teams than it is lack of offense, I think.
Pass complete to Glenn Kozlowski from Steve Bradley.
There's a guy that Mike Ditka likes, is Kozlowski. He says he has two things going. He says he has hands and he has heart. And those are two things that Mike Ditka likes, especially that second one. If you have a guy that has heart, big heart, he can usually end up playing for Mike Ditka.
Ball at the 45. First and 10 Bears. They get to 44, but it is a first and 10.
the ball for the door.
He's out of the pocket. Larry McCoy. Pass incomplete. Intended for Don Kent.
I think Bradley just threw that one away. He knew McCoy was coming there, and he couldn't find any receiver. He didn't want to get hit by McCoy, so he said, I think I'll just get rid of this thing and try it and see what happens on second down. Maybe we can get a punt block to get another first down. Well, that's a dumb rule. That's dumb, isn't it?
I think
dumb?
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
That's the same thing, I guess. And complete again. It was intended for Don Kent. Bradley again under pressure.
I tell you, Glenn Kozlowski was wide open deep, and was he upset that Steve Bradley didn't see him? He was jumping up and down in the middle. Let's see if we can watch him. He's out here. He's going to come right down into here. Let's see if we can see how open he gets. He gets by his guy. Look at him here. There's no one in the middle. He's right down here in the middle, going deep. And he said, let me have it.
Third down 10. Bears from their own 44. Out of the shotgun. And here comes the New Orleans blitz. Down goes Bradley. Scott Leach was the Saint there. The Saints' second sack.
I tell you, that's the thing. You know, Leach just comes from here, and they can say, you know, just go ahead and, you know, and hit me here and hit me there. But someone has to block. Someone has to help him. You see Leach, a guy goes outside, a guy comes inside, and no one blocks Scott Leach as he comes right up the middle. So you can have guys open, but like I've always said, the first thing you have to do is get that pass protection.
Kevin Brown back to punt. Eric Martin back deep for the Saints. That one won't do to get to him. He does on the bounce. He drops it. Bears in pursuit, and they have it. Egypt Allen again. 47-yard punt. Bears get the recovery.
The best thing the Bears can do on offense is punt. Watch this one. It looks like that guy was held, too. He was being tackled. Now he's being held, and the Bears come up with it.
Chris Brewer made the tackle. Egypt Allen made the recovery. Eric Martin is still down. Just today, look what's happened on the special teams.
Well, they had the one dumb rule, then they have this one here, and like I said, the Bears have made more first downs, I think, and more yardage out of punt formation than they have on offense.
First down at the 18. Chase, pass incomplete. Chris Brewer, the intended receiver. Derek Taylor, the defender. Again, it was McCoy who put the pressure on Bradley.
Look, everyone has a list. Ditka has a list. Ed Hughes has a list. Steve Bradley has a list. That's when you really get, you know, I hope we're all on the same page. That's where that saying came from. Coaches and quarterbacks having lists.
And the way things are, these games, you hope you got the right guys in the right place. The right name. Touchdown to Glenn Kozlowski from Bradley.
The pattern that Kozlowski was saying before that he was open on. He probably just got the word back to the coaching staff that he said, I can come up and then go inside and beat this guy in a slant. Because remember, we saw that earlier when Bradley didn't see him. That was the same pattern.
Sean Payton will hold for Lasher. And then the extra point is good. 17-3, the Bears over the Saints. 8:12 left to play in the first half.
Let's watch that touchdown again. We'll see Glenn Kozlowski's here. All he has to do is get inside to go here. But the guy who's poor is this free safety here. He should be over here to help. He takes a bad angle. Watch Kozlowski. As soon as he gets inside there, he knows he has a touchdown. And watch that free safety. He doesn't do anything. Kozlowski just splits him. That was a pretty good throw by Steve Bradley.
It wasn't a thing of beauty as far as being a perfect spiral, but it sure was on the money.
Yeah, that's one of the things they're worried about Jim McMahon. He had that shoulder operation. They say now he's throwing spirals. Everyone's worried about how he's going to catch it.
Kirtland Thomas, the man on the kickoff return. Glenn Kozlowski, who just scored that touchdown, has captured the heart, as John Madden was saying, of that man, Mike Ditka. And we asked him what he has learned about his stay with the Bears.
You learn about people, especially the coaches. They're under adverse conditions, and you know, you got to hand it to them. They held together, especially Coach Dick. He's a class person, and he's a winner. And he took a group of guys that you know, you pulled them off the street and you put them on. They were all football players, but nobody had played in a while, and he molded them together and he made winners out of it.
Forcade to Stacy Dawsey. Egypt Allen, the defender.
Yeah, I think that's the amazing thing that Kozlowski was talking about. There's only one undefeated team in the National Football League as of today, and of course that's the Chicago Bears. And Mike Ditka did it with his regulars first, and then with these guys. I mean, that's the kind of coach you used to say about Bear Bryant. He can take his and beat yours, or he can take yours and beat his.
Beverly close to a first down, maybe a little bit short. January on the stop.
I remember watching the Bears on the opening game of the season against the Giants, and we saw that game on a tape, and I think that they looked like they were back to the championship form. I mean, they were as good as they were a couple years ago, and to me, before the strike, the Bears looked like the best team in the NFL.
That's going to be close. Rodenberger. They got it.
Well, that's what Morris said. Old Rodenberger, he's good for a half a yard anytime you need it. How'd you like to be known for that? Half a yard. Old half-yard Rodenberger.
Depends on how bad you want to play.
Depends on how much you need. If you need 10 yards, half a yard's bad. If you need a couple inches, half a yard's great. Specialization.
Okay, back to throw. Flag is down on the play. Caught by Eric Martin. Enough for a first down, a gain of 19, but a penalty marker.
I'll tell you one thing about that John Forcade. He has a quick release and a strong arm.
88, offense. Pass interference. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Still first down.
I'll tell you one thing, the Saints are sure getting some ugly penalties against them. Anytime they do anything, I mean, they block a punt and the Bears end up with a first down. They drill a ball in there for a first down, and the tight end, Mike Waters, is holding. You remember Mike Waters? I remember a year ago, he was the starting fullback in the opening game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And he got in an argument a couple of weeks later, and Buddy Ryan ran him off.
Well, he got in the argument with the wrong guy, the head coach, Buddy Ryan. Here's Forcade on a scramble. That one just slipped out of his hand. Jets ahead of Miami. You know, the Saints, Jim Morrow was telling us, are going to keep both squads when they come back to start practice next week. So they'll be practicing with 85 players.
Well, what he's going to do is he's going to have this group come in early Monday morning and leave then his other group is going to come in. Then Tuesday, he's going to bring them all together for the first time.
Okay, and again under pressure. Scrambling out of the pocket. Back into the middle, and the pass is caught by Dwight Beverly. Talking about that situation, and John asked him more if he had a facility that would accommodate that many players, and he said no.
Well, that's going to be the problem. You know, I think what both sides are going to do is probably cut down and not keep the entire 85. Mike Ditka was saying he'll probably keep about 10 of them. So instead of having 85, he'll have like 55, and I think Moore will probably eventually get down to maybe 60.
3rd and 12. Page scrambles up in the pocket, out of the pocket. Gets up to about the 45 before Jay Norvell gets him down. Steve Trimble is the man who put the pressure and forced him out of there.
You know, the thing that you watch John Forcade do that, you wonder about it. I mean, he's running, scrambling, cutting up the middle, doing all those things with a torn ligament in his knee.
Barnhart back to punt. This is a honey. Frank Harris back for the Bears. Sends down in a hurry. They get him at about the 17. Reggie Sutton, the first one there. 41-yard punt. Stayed up there forever. The return was 5 yards. It's 17-3 Bears. They might can make the second half.
They don't even care.
First down, Chicago. Man in motion. On the draw play, gets nothing. McCoy and swoops. Sometimes people, including us, are confused about what's going on with the old players and the new players and the strike, and is it settled and isn't it settled, but those are the roster rules.
Yeah, and that'll just be for next week. They can carry 85 and only have 45 active, and announce that active squad the night before the game.
Sean Payton is now the quarterback, 2nd and 11. Gives it to Hooley. Left side, not much.
I wonder if something happened to Steve Bradley, because Mike Ditka told us yesterday, I don't think you'll see Sean Payton. He said he fouled the plays up. He said last week, he said we put Payton in there, and he said, and we gave him a play, first down, a running play. He ends up in a shotgun and calls something. He said, I don't think he's ready for this.
So Sean Payton is the quarterback. 3rd and 10. The Saints showing blitz. Hooley almost lost the ball. Got it back. Got hit by Scott Leach. Don't forget to stay with us at halftime for the NFL today with Brent, Irv, and those three gentlemen. Jim Kelly, the Buffalo quarterback, Ken O'Brien, the Jets, and Mark May of the Washington Redskins. And Brent will be discussing what the situation might be with them. Kevin Brown back to punt, averaging 46 yards. Eric Martin back deep, standing right in midfield for New Orleans. Line drive kick. He had trouble handling the last one, so Martin gets away from this one. Rolls into safe territory. You know, we were talking, John, about the success of the Bears, the fact that they're the only unbeaten team. 2 wins by the regulars, 2 wins by the replacements. And Mike McCaskey of the Bears was saying to us yesterday that he thought the opening speech that Mike Ditka gave to the replacement players is the thing that has fired them up like this and kept them as good as they are.
Well, what he did is he told them about the Bears tradition and what it means to wear a Bears uniform. And the big thing I think he did is he treated them like professionals, and they acted and reacted like professionals.
McInerney pulled down John Forcade after he had to come out of the pocket again. still got 5 yards.
A gain of 5. Second and 5.
You know, out of this thing, John Forcade, out of this replacement football, has already gotten a commercial down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's big.
2 minutes to go in the first half. 17-3 the Bears over the Saints. Pat Summerall, John Madden at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears lead the Saints 17-3. Second and 5, 2 minutes to go in the first half. Stacy Dawsey takes the strike, and the Saints move the sticks. That's another thing that the Bears did. That's the 1987 Chicago Bears. That's what the caption underneath the picture says. That's the replacement team. Something they'll treasure for a long, long time. To Beverly. To the 30. Gain of 2. Cleveland beaten up on Cincinnati. And the Rams shutting out Atlanta. Second and 8. Okay, quickly. Eric Martin. This guy can throw the ball.
I'll tell you, they found something that they can get, and that's that line Eric Martin up in the right and run him on that short post or quick slant to the inside.
All out blitz. Forcade throws it. Malcolm Scott made a dive, but Forcade had no time.
Well, he should come back to that same thing, and I'll bet you somewhere on the next 2 plays he does try and do that same thing to Eric Martin, that, again, that short post or inside slant from the right side. That's probably what Jim Moore is talking about. There's someone up there saying, hey, Coach, we can hit Martin on that slant down here.
Martin is split wide to the left this time. Forcade looking in that direction. Martin, touchdown. Bruce McRae. Well, maybe he sold him the quick post and then took it back to the outside.
That's exactly what he did. They were saying, well, they're looking for that slant. Let's take them in and make them think we're doing that and then go back to the corner. Pretty good here. We see Forcade. He's watching them all the way. Martin did a good job. He sold that inside move, that post, and then ran back like a slant back to the corner.
To try the extra point with Reardon holding.
Let's watch Eric Martin. He's out here. Now, he'd been coming up here and running his slant. So now he comes here, starts in the slant, sells the slant, and then comes back out to the corner for the touchdown. See, he'd been coming a slant. Now he starts in. See him sell it? Now he sold it in there. Then look, he has all this room to the outside, and Forcade just lays it out for the touchdown. But, you know, they had to believe he was going inside because he had caught like 3 or 4 of those slants. So then he runs what they call slant corner.
And that tightens things up a bit. The Saints have been able to move the ball, but the Bears are up by 7. 6 plays, 51 yards. They kept the ball a minute and 46 seconds. Touchdown pass was 14 yards from Forcade to Martin. This could have been a tie ball game if that punt blocked by the Saints had been allowed. However, they're not going to change it now.
You know, what is this deal with the kicker now? I see sometimes they have different color shoes, but he has like nothing on his left arm and then a sleeve on his right one. Some guys do it with feet. He does it with his arms to tell foot and kick foot.
I have no idea.
See, I think what he's saying, to remind him that his left foot is his plant foot and his right foot is his kicking foot, he reminds himself in his upper body, I think.
Or it could be if he falls down, he wants to remember to land on that side.
That's right.
Total offense, Saints 171, Chicago just 43 total plays. 41-21. But those things don't count in the standings. Motion. Brewer, the ball carrier. Bradley's back in at quarterback.
I tell you, you don't think a nose tackle gets a beating. You were talking about the tight end coming in motion. Watch him as he comes in motion, the job he's going to do right here. Here's a nose that he's fighting like heck, and here comes this guy from the blind side and does this to him. Watch, you think you're in the pitch, you think you're blocking the center. Watch, here comes the tight end. Whap! And look, you end up right on your back. You think, where are these guys coming from? And that's Tony Elliott.
Well, the Bears took a timeout, and they came over en masse. Oh, the Saints took the timeout. I beg your pardon. Bears have all theirs left. Saints just have one. Ditka will let you know what's on his mind.
This is what it looks like down there. That's what it's taking on. I'll tell you, that was Bruce Clark, the veteran defensive end.
Bradley. It's picked off by the Saints. They only have one timeout left. They'll get the ball at their own 35. Reggie Sutton picked it off.
And then Kozlowski took it away from Reggie Sutton, but that didn't count. That was after all the stuff. Hey, this is a pretty good interception here. Going here, they're both just going for the ball. They're both playing offense. Sutton just made himself a receiver, and he just ran the pattern and caught the ball.
He's the guy that got knocked out on the Bears' first touchdown. Made a couple of big plays.
He's the guy that said he had to come back, that he was just learning defense and how to play, and that he just couldn't stay out.
He's also the guy that blocked the punt. Look out, John. To Beverly. He is very close to being over the line of scrimmage when he let it go. Forcade appears to see a lot, sees the whole field.
Or he hears a lot. I think he heard you. You said look out, and he just looked out and ran little and threw the ball. This guy can see or hear. Watch him. He's going like this, and you say, look out. And then he did this. And then he did this. And then Beverly did this.
And it's 2nd and 10. He threw it to a lineman. To Philip James. He threw it. I don't know what kind of pass that was.
Well, they said he was in the grass, but John Norris did a heck of a job. John Norris was a defensive end. He's going to be out here. Now watch him. He gets blocked inside, but he starts to trip. He goes down. Now watch him. He gets up. Now he's coming back, chasing him here, and getting him there. And he was in the grass.
He had an illegal forward pass, so there's no foul. The play was already dead in the grass.
The whistle had blown, which was lucky because he threw the ball to his center. The center, of course, you can't do that. You know, you can do that in the streets, like when you call center eligible. No duck in the center, then you can do it. But in here, you can't throw it to the center.
All the timeouts have been used by New Orleans. 3rd down and about 13.
You know, that guy chasing him again was John Norris, who had that early interception, who played arena football with John Forcade, who was the guy who called him during the week. Forcade said he called me and wanted to know how I was doing. And he said, well, my knee's a little sore. And he said, well, it's going to be more sore if you play against us. And then he said, Forcade said, I just took the phone and gave it to my brother and said, here, you talk to this guy. He was chasing him, wasn't it?
His brother's a tough guy.
Well, his brother's a talker to the guy.
6 seconds remain. Throw it up and hope somebody comes down with it. One of our guys. Which didn't happen. Pass incomplete. The Bears, with the Saints still having all kinds of trouble on special teams, the Bears have been able to take advantage of it, and they lead 17-10. That's the end of the first half with the score. Chicago Bears 17, the New Orleans Saints 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, Today Chevrolet, and by the investment firm of Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
Pete Rose just got tough.
Because now I use Tegrin. Tegrin medicated shampoo. No more pretty shampoos for me. Tegrin's tougher than Head and Shoulders. It's got a special ingredient that's tough on everyday dandruff. Tough on all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Tegrin's 4 times tough. It's the heavy hitter against dandruff for me.
And your wife.
So get tough on your dandruff with Tegrin lotion, or now in brand new concentrated gel.
You know, the weirdest things happen to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steaks, got my ribs. Then when I ask the stock boy where the Coors Light is at, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
A bizarre murder.
It's Nate, all right, or what's left of him.
Oh, how awful.
Hope Lang and Doug McClure.
Murder.
She wrote. Then
it was all so perfect.
We can be like a secret club.
But a divorce took our granddaughter away.
You should have called me. You had no right taking her anywhere.
If I'm guilty of anything, I'm guilty of love.
Robert Young stars with Drew Barrymore in Conspiracy of Love. Tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS.
Welcome back to New York. If my cameraman can block and tackle, I got the quarterbacks. We'll beat any of these replacement teams. Mark May of the Washington Redskins, your impression of the game so far that you've been watching?
Obviously, it is an NFL caliber football, but there is some excitement in those football games.
Ken O'Brien, your thoughts?
Joke football or not, I have to sit here and root for the New York Jets to win so we can get back on the winning side of the track.
Jim Kelly.
I agree, too, because the Buffalo Bills definitely have to get out of the cellar. We're in last place, and hopefully we can pull it out.
Yeah, Jimmy the Greek, you're sitting here rooting for the Green Bay Packers. And
no, I'm rooting for the Eagles because I picked the Eagles. But if the Green Bay Packers don't win this one, they won't win another game until the next strike.
Irv, your thoughts about the Bears today?
I'll tell you, no matter who's in the uniforms, as long as Ditka's on the sidelines, there's still monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, quality coach. Let's get you to the scoreboard and up to date right now. The Rams and Atlanta, and Dills has thrown a pair of touchdown passes in that game. Jeff Kemp has thrown 4 touchdown passes. Steve Largent has 3 of them, and Largent has caught 12 passes against that replacement Lion defense. Philadelphia and Green Bay, the Eagles 7 and the Packers 3. Cleveland and Cincinnati, Gary Danielson has thrown 3 touchdown passes in that game. Indianapolis comes back late to tie Pittsburgh at 7. They go to the half. New England, Houston. Yes, Doug Flutie is playing. He's 10 of 17, 162 yards, and he has thrown 1 touchdown pass. Miami and the Jets, and here's the one that Ken O'Brien wants to come in. 17-10 right now. The Jets with the lead at the half. Minnesota and Tampa Bay, this is a duel of the field goals. New Orleans and Chicago, those of you watching this game, you know the Saints have self-destructed earlier in the replacement game schedule, but not today. They come back late. And here's the touchdown pass. Hey, Forcade's got some courage, doesn't he? Hangs in with the knee injury, throws a touchdown pass. But I'm going to ask our experts about this blocked punt. Now, here come the Saints. Now, watch the punter. Now, Mark May, I was under the impression that that was legal when the ball was free. Your feelings about that?
I thought so also. A fumble, a block punt, it's a free ball. My interpretation of the rules, you can do anything to get it back.
Ken O'Brien, your thoughts?
I think a call that bad can only be made by a scab official. I think it's appropriate for the type of football we're watching today.
Jim Kelly.
Best words I've heard all day, but it was a touchdown for the Saints. The punt was blocked. I think it should have been a touchdown.
And Jimmy the Greek,
I agree with them. I picked the Saints. Come on, Brent.
Irv, what did they rule? Why did they make that rule?
Well, I checked with the press box in Chicago, and the official ruling was you cannot use your hands to, you can only use your hands to make a tackle or ward off a block. They thought that they were tackling the kicker instead of pushing him away.
Well, we're coming back with our board of experts right after these messages from your local stations. Welcome back to New York, everybody. A chance to discuss the aftermath of the strike. And Mark May of the Washington Redskins, why were the Redskin veterans wanting to go in and play so badly this week?
Because we wanted to play this game for the fans, Brent. We play the Dallas Cowboys. It's our arch rival in Washington, and we felt that if we went in on a Thursday, which was only one day after the deadline, that they would permit us to play.
But you knew the rules, right?
We did know the rules, but since we played on a Monday night, we thought that they could extend them. Back in 1982 in the strike, we came in on a Thursday, played on a Sunday. The whole league did. This year, they set it back to Wednesday. I don't know why. I think the fans were cheated.
All right. Ken O'Brien, possible problems with the Jets. Mark Gastineau goes in, egg throwing, confrontations. What's going to happen to the team when it comes back together?
Well, I think that, we had more than our share of problems. We had quite a few guys cross the picket line, and they were some of the guys who were a little older, a little more respected. So the younger guys have pretty much banded together now, and we've had a lot of team meetings trying to discuss how we're going to handle the situation. If you want to salvage the year, when we get back, we have to be smart enough to try to overcome those problems. But there's no doubt there's hard feelings, and they're going to last a long time.
They'll look to you as a quarterback, too, to try and bring things together, won't they?
Well, I don't know if they're going to look toward me. I think there's some guys that are just so pro-union and so anti-against what happened that it's going to be hard to contain their emotions.
Jim Kelly, you're one of the highest salaried players in the league, perhaps number one. How much money did you lose here in the last month by not playing?
Too much. Close to around $300,000.
If you had it to do all over again, would you have gone in and played?
No, definitely not. I have a career that I want to do. I want to play football, and I guess if you really look at some of the quarterbacks that have crossed the line, Gary Hogboom, he's now out with an injury. I guess, my father was a union person. He was a union rep, and I guess just looking back through it all, I think I made the right decision. My family's behind me, definitely the players, and I don't want to go in there and have scab people blocking for me. I know I have a good offensive line now, and I want those guys blocking for me when I go back in.
How many veterans crossed up in Buffalo?
I think like 5.
What will that reaction be when you go back in the locker room?
It's going to be tough because from what I understand, they're going to keep 85 players on the roster for this week, and I know some of the teams are sharing same locker room. It's going to be interesting because I know the way Joe Devlin, Fred Smerlas, some of our veterans are reacting to some of the players that have crossed the line. Take, for example, Carl Byram was one of our starting fullbacks, and he crossed the line. And they said, go ahead, hand the ball off to him, Jim. He said, we'll see what happens with the offensive line.
Mark, why did the Washington Redskins hang together?
Back in 1982, during the strike of 82, we all stayed together, and we were all tight, and we were all a unit, and we went to the Super Bowl, and we got one of these, and we won. We were hoping that this time around we can do the same thing. We stayed together as a unit. We had team meetings. There were a little bit of bickering in there. Of course, when you get 50 guys together, guys are going to voice their opinions. But we stayed together as a unit, and I think we're the only team in the NFL to do that.
Yeah, Ken, the approach of the union going out on strike?
Well, looking back on it now, it certainly doesn't seem to be the smartest way to go about things. I think maybe the legal actions they've taken, if we could have done that in the first place, would have benefited us. We wouldn't have lost the money we've lost now. We wouldn't have lost face the way we seem to have lost. But, the thing that hurt the union more than anything was the solidarity was broken. When guys started breaking the lines, and there was nothing left for them, and that was a key factor.
Jim, you agree with that?
I definitely agree because, when you play football, you play as a team, and if everybody pulls together, such as what Mark said, the Washington Redskins stuck together. The Buffalo Bills were together up until last week when about 4 crossed and made the total, I think, 5 or 6. As long as we stay together, I think overall, I think our team's pretty much ready to play. We play Dolphins next week.
Mark, who was the public behind in this strike?
I think definitely it was behind management, especially the first few weeks of the strike. But when they didn't let us come back to play, when everybody in the league came back in the league and they wanted to play football this weekend and give the fans what they're paying for, management said, no, we can't let you guys play because we set a rule that was moved 3 or 4 times already. They wouldn't let us come back and play. I think we've kind of tilted towards the players in this strike. I think the fans have really kind of tilted a little bit more towards the players.
Was free agency worth striking for?
I really don't think so. 2 out of the 3 guys up here may benefit, but it won't benefit me at all. I want to stay in Washington and play.
Yeah, Ken?
I think free agency is definitely an important issue. I think that if you can move around, if you can get more money, by having your talents dictate what the market's going to do for you. It's what happens everywhere else in society. But to sit out on strike for 3 weeks was crazy. I think maybe legally, if we can get it that way, it'd be the smartest thing.
Jim, how long will it take before the veterans are back in shape and we can see NFL football the way we're accustomed to seeing it?
Well, we've been practicing 4 or 5 times a week, and we've been running. We've been staying in pretty good shape, but from what I hear, a lot of the NFL teams were like 20 players, 25 coming in. We had approximately 35 to 40 players every day out there, so as far as the Buffalo Bills are concerned, we're in pretty good shape, but again, we play down in Miami in the hot weather next week.
Eager to get back, though?
Definitely.
You can?
Can't wait.
Mark?
Ready to go.
All right. So they'll all be back in uniform next week. Thank you for being with us. And we will continue here with the NFL Today on CBS in just a moment.
At the half at Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears lead the New Orleans Saints 17-10. It's been a first half that the Saints dominated statistically, but the Bears and their special teams prevail. One controversial play, however, or this could be a tie football game. Let's go back and look one more time at Reggie Sutton's block of a Bear punt.
You know what they say the rule is here, Pat, that after you block the punt, now the punter is going for it. Now, if you hold the guy and you're not attempting to go for the ball, that's the holding penalty. Now, to me, I thought Sutton was tackling him, trying to get a safety out of it. They ruled that he was holding him, and in holding him, not trying to get the ball, that was a penalty. Now to me, that's a dumb rule. I mean, there's no way that you should be able to go to punt, have the punt block, and end up with a first down.
That ball bounced back up to Jackson as Sutton was coming up close to him. It looked as if he were trying to tackle him. I don't know. That has to be a judgment, but it's something that has got both of us baffled. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru and by Michelob Light. When the sun goes down, light up the night with Michelob Light.
Ready to start the second half. Florian Kemp will kick off. Kozlowski and Knapczyk, the two wide receivers. Back deep for the Bears. Kemp's kick sails to Kozlowski right at the goal line. Hitting hard as the Saints do a good job on special teams. Ken Marshall.
You know, I think that first half with the Bears leading 17-10 shows you how you can win with defense and special teams, because they won the first half of that. They only had 4 first downs, but with their defense, getting their turnovers, and their kicking game, they go on a 7-point lead.
There was a friend of ours who had a lot of success in the NFL with that theory. Coached here with the Bears at one time. His name was George Allen. McCoy had the Bear quarterback for a moment. The Saints recover well as he threw for Kozlowski.
That was a good adjustment by Kozlowski. He was running like an out pattern or a pattern on the sideline, and then when he saw the scramble, he just turned and started up the field. You can see him, that was after the turn, but Steve Bradley just didn't get the ball out there to him. But that's a good adjustment. If your guy starts to scramble, you can either work back to him or run away from him and try and get the big one.
That was Derek Taylor who came over to knock it away. 2nd and 10. Over the head of Knapczyk. Bring up a 3rd down situation.
Talking about the Bears in the first half, they only had 4 first downs. They also only had 25 yards passing.
Most of that came on the touchdown pass. They had 2 touchdown passes. Supposed to be Hohensee starting at quarterback for the Bears. He's had a bad knee all week. They decided last night that he couldn't go. So Bradley operates out of the shotgun. Brewer with some room.
That's going to be close. That was a collision right at that marker, right at that first down marker, there was about 20 guys running right at the marker. I think the Saints won the race.
About a yard short, I think. Eric Martin goes back to, here's the race John was talking about.
That's just, they started here, and watch, there's all these guys running right down here to that marker, and the Saints stopped him before he got there.
Kevin Brown. Martin signals fair catch. The ball bounced away from him again. And this ramble goes on, but the Saints come up with this one.
I'll tell you, Martin should know better than that. He caught the ball too close to his body. You see what happens? When your hands get close to your body, the ball hits the shoulder pads. Watch him. You got to catch that like a pass. You got to have your hands out in front. See how close his hands are to his body? And then the ball didn't hit his hands. It hit his shoulder pad before it ever got to the hands. And a receiver should know that. I mean, you make a living keeping your hands out in front of your body.
First down, Saints. Okay, back to throw on first down. Gets his pass down the middle. His receiver juggled. It was Mike Waters and couldn't hang on. Somebody might have deflected that on the way.
I'll tell you, he had him here with the play pass. Waters is kind of wandering upfield. He just got hit after he dropped it. He deserves that. That's for dropping the ball. The ball hits you in the hands. You got to catch it.
There's the deflection.
It was deflected. And it hit him in the hands right there.
Mike January is the man who got the hand up. 2-yard gain. Tifa Tiller on the stop.
Where Beverly's had a tough day.
He really has. Carried a lot.
Well, he carried a lot last week, and then was a little easier, and then he comes this week, and he's not even averaging 2 yards a carry. There's just nothing there. Every time he runs, he just sees black jerseys.
3rd and 8. Expect pressure. Stacy Dawsey, the intended receiver for Cade, had again little time.
Yeah, that was one of those things that he threw short. Even had it been complete, it wouldn't have been a first down.
Tommy Barnhart back to punt. Frank Harris back deep for the Bears. Good kick. And the Saints are down in mass. Jeff Rodenberger down to make the stop. Chief Tiller in pain over on the sideline.
38 yards.
Next week begins with the NFL today at 12:30. The regulars will be back. John Madden and I will be in Tampa for the Bears' visit to the Buccaneers. Dallas, Philadelphia, 49ers, Saints, and the rest of the schedule. Tifa Tiller being attended to over on the sideline after he was in obvious pain. That still is. 1st and 10 at the 31 for the Bears. Sean Payton back in at quarterback. Payton chased by McCoy. Overthrows his intended receiver. Namuli.
That was one of those plays that was going to be a bootleg, and he sneaked Namuli out there, but he just had too much pressure by McCoy.
Brings up 2nd and 10. A beautiful afternoon in Chicago. Beautiful day.
It's good. It's a nice day because the sun's shining right on Peyton's plays for him. He got that big list underneath the towel.
And he can see it.
Yeah, it's good it's not a cloudy day. You'd have to squint to find a play.
And complete. Don Kent, the intended receiver. Rams 17-0 over Atlanta. Seattle beating Detroit 30-7. Philadelphia 7-3 over Green Bay. Cleveland shutting out Cincinnati. Colts and Steelers tied 21-7 Houston. Jets 17-10 over Miami. Tampa Bay leading Minnesota 10-3. Got a step. Pass interference. Ball against Michael Adams. Kozlowski was the intended receiver.
Interference. Defense, number 40. First down.
I think Sean Payton, the quarterback, helped that one by just letting that ball sit up there. And that gave Martin time to interfere with him. Watch, that ball was up there and up there and up there. Kozlowski was waiting for it. And by the time it came down, Michael Adams had plenty of time to interfere with him. It's hard to cover him that long. You know, an interesting thing, the Saints have two guys, Bruce Clark and Tony Elliott, that are their regular defensive linemen to cross the line and come in here and play. I don't think either of them have made a play yet.
Maybe early in the game, Allen made a play, but not much. 17-10, the Bears still lead. We have a change in quarterbacks for the Bears. And look how it's done.
Well, Sean Payton took a timeout. He's coming over here to Ditka. Mike Ditka gets mad at him. Look at him. He turns to his other quarterback, Bradley, because he took the timeout. He put the other guy in.
And so Bradley's the quarterback. Down to the Saint 20. Finally cut down by Derek Taylor. A gain of 16.
Hey, it's going to be a pitch out here, and they just get it out to the outside. Get a good lead block out there by John Wojciechowski, and that's enough to break Brewer loose. You know, he's a guy that may make the team. That John Wojciechowski, the left guard, may become a Bear regular team member.
Right ahead. He only got one.
Wojciechowski's a big guy. I mean, he's like, 6'4" and 270 pounds, and he's a guy that has proven to the coaches that he can play.
He was with the Bears at training camp. They liked him then. He was one of their last cuts.
I'll tell you, with all those letters in his name, he has to have big old wide shoulders to pack that name across his back.
Payton is back in as the quarterback. And the Saints swarm on Hamuli. Led by Bruce Clark. There you are.
Yeah, there's Bruce Clark. Yeah, I think the other guys, John Arp and John Relk, have been doing a pretty good job over there. Look like they just didn't get him this time. He comes from the left side of the defense right down the line and gets Hamuli before he gets started. Of course, he had a lot of other guys around there, too.
Bradley's back in at quarterback. 3rd and 14.
That was something. Payton took that time out. Hey, you don't take time. Get out of here. Get the other guy in there. Let me take a time out.
Out of the spread. Can't have it, and it's picked off by Reggie Sutton. Reggie Sutton keeps getting away from people. He's had a good day.
Well, that's one that's going to be unfair. That's going to go against Steve Bradley, and he threw it right to Don Kent. He had it in his hands. That's as good a throw as you can have. It just bounced out. Watch him. He reads him, sees him, zips it in there, just bounces off his hands into an interception. They'll blame the quarterback, but they ought to blame the receiver. That ought to go down as an interception for Don Kent.
So a little face mask violation there. Forcade going right to the air. Has a man open, Malcolm Scott.
Was complete from Malcolm Scott.
8-yard gain.
Brought down by Bobby Bell.
Bobby Bell.
Second is 2.
Bring up a 2nd and 2. Saints almost now exclusively throwing on first down, which is a good idea.
Well, I think that's the thing that they had to do because they were finishing up in the first half. Every time they got to third down, they had more than 8 yards to go. And then they can't handle that pass rush. So first down will be a lot easier for them to throw on.
Beverly. Close. Stopped by Sean McInerney.
Beverly's saying it's tough in this state. You know, he went to Illinois, so this is kind of a homecoming that he has here, coming back and, you know, playing here in Chicago in front of a lot of his friends and stuff. They're just not being very cooperative with him.
First down, New Orleans. Forcade on first, throwing again. Eric Martin batted away by Egypt Allen.
Forcade pass intended for Eric Martin. Broken up by Egypt Allen.
Hey, that's a pretty good play there by Egypt Allen. Beverly there makes a nice block. I mean, he has to take the linebacker down coming. That was Mike January, the middle linebacker, on a blitz. Beverly looked like Walter Payton. That's the thing that Walter Payton does so well.
Egypt Allen injured on the play. George Duarte has taken his place at left cornerback. Flag down, and so is Forcade. 3 sacks by the Bears. McInerney. Just to bring you up to date, this is Soldier Field in Chicago, the home of the Bears.
Illegal motion, 47 offense, penalty refused.
And John Madden, the Bears lead it 17-10. They have been pressuring the Saints, blitzing on almost every down all day. A loss of 10. This group will pick up some sacks in a few weeks, won't they? Third down and about 20. Forcade will operate out of the shotgun this time. He very nearly got a first down on a bad leg.
Well, you know, he said last night, he said he has a torn ligament. He's not sure which ligament it is, but he knows that he can't run to his left. So if he runs, he said it has to be to his right. So everything he does is right turns. He goes straight, then he takes a right turn, then he takes another right turn, and just keeps taking rights until he gets out of bounds.
David Beverly got a good block, and so did Coleman Thomas. Saints tried it down, and it got into the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20. 8:37 left in the third quarter. Bears by 7. Here's the end of that punt again.
Well, and they're still looking at it to see if it went in the end zone. I don't know. It touched the line, so I guess that they are bringing it back right now. They continue to look at that.
Review of instant replay, it proves out the official's call on the field was correct. It is a touchback.
What they did during that commercial time, they looked at that. They kept the ball down there at about the 1-foot line and kept looking at it and just decided that the ball did, in fact, go in the end zone.
So they bring it out to the 20. And the Bears will take over. Lead by 7 with 8:37 left to play in the third quarter. And Sean Payton is again the quarterback.
I think they're still checking something, Pat. They're still in the replay. Now they're letting him go because when the umpire steps on the ball, that means that they're doing some checking or some stuff.
So it's first down, Bears, their own 20. Knocked backwards. A loss of 1. For an NFL update, let's send you back again to New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Pat, the Green Bay Packers have moved ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles, but watch this sloppy tackling. Guru Buddy Ryan will get mad about that. Lee Morris goes in, 46-yard touchdown, pass thrown by Alan Risher. Let's go back to Pat and John.
Back at Soldier Field, 2nd and 11. Now they change quarterbacks on every play the Bears do. Bradley back to throw. High and over his head, but a flag is down one more time. Glenn Kozlowski was the intended receiver. Adams on the coverage.
Interference, number 40 defense. First down.
That's Michael Adams on defense. It was interesting. Yesterday, Mike Ditka was saying, we think we can throw the ball a lot to Kozlowski today. Then we talked to Jim Moore. He said, we'd like to force him to throw because we think that they don't have anyone that can get open against our defensive backs. I don't know about that. They didn't talk about penalty stuff.
No. They've had 2 on the last 2 series. Maybe. Just into the ball. No. Incomplete. And no flag this time. New Orleans has been penalized 4 times for 53 yards. One of those, that big pass interference penalty for 32. Chicago only once for 5. Something else interesting, I thought, that both coaches said. In training camp this year, they worked out 3 days against each other, 5 practices. And they know a lot about each other's terminology because of that.
And the other thing they do is they have a lot of respect for each other.
Kozlowski from Bradley. Bear first down. Milton Mack.
And the other thing, of course, is Vince Tobin, who's the defensive coordinator for the Bears, was the defensive coordinator for Jim Mora when they were in the USFL together. This is what Ditka said they can do. We're going to throw to Kozlowski. Mora said, I don't think Kozlowski can beat our guy.
Well, Sean Payton's going to try again. And he's done it again. But he's out of bounds.
One thing Sean Payton learned, he better not call timeout and think he's going to go over there and talk to Mike Ditka about it. Last time he did it, Ditka took him out. I think they're just switching quarterbacks now, as you say, every play.
Kozlowski needs a rest. And he's going to get one.
Well, Kozlowski did get behind. He won that battle. Had that ball been thrown a little longer and inside, that could have been a big, big play.
Lawrence White takes his place. He split wide to the left. Intended for Kent, who can't hang on.
Don Kent's having a bad day today. He got those dropsies.
For Cade is 11 out of 22, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 125 yards. Bradley, 56 yards. Payton, 3.
I think the thing is, I think that Bradley is probably the better quarterback, but he's been here less time. Payton's been here longer, but he's not as good as Bradley.
Well, again to Kozlowski.
Again out of bounds. 2 big passes to Kozlowski. They were playing in Canada. It would have been a big deal. Both of them out of bounds. Oh, that's a heck of a catch, though. I don't know about that one. You know, if he's pushed out of bounds, then that should be good.
At the 40.
I think he had both feet in bounds, but the ball was out of bounds.
He kept the ball and then slammed it down, and it's out in the middle of the big C in the middle of the field now. So they got 2 balls.
You got to get that other ball off the field.
Oh, he dropped it. He dropped it.
Yeah, he didn't have possession. He had both feet in bounds, so they're looking at it on the instant replay again. See umpire and the white hat standing on the ball, that means they're checking it. When he gets off, they're done.
After a thorough review of instant replay, the catch in the sideline was confirmed out of bounds.
Well, that was good. I mean, he didn't catch it anyway. It wasn't a catch, was it?
No.
But his feet were good, though.
And it was a heck of an effort.
He had half the deal.
Eric Martin hit it again, and they got it again. The Saints got the punt block this time, and they're not going to call this one back. Michael Adams is the man who got the hand on it.
That was one thing the Saints learned in the first half, that if we overload, if we go for the pressure, we can get there. This punter's a little shaky. They got there the first time, but it backfired on them, so they came back with it again and got the punt block, and now they end up with the ball on the 22-yard line.
Didn't really make any difference who recovered it.
Comes from their left.
Adams. First down, Saints, 14. That was Jean-Baptiste. Garland Jean-Baptiste.
I think they probably wanted to give Dwight Beverly a rest. He's been doing all the running. He's been doing the blocking. He's been a real workhorse of this Saint offense. And probably they get a good field position when they get a fresh guy in there.
Well, they got 7 yards, so 2nd and 3. Forcade again to Baptiste. Altoff stopped it.
Garland Jean-Baptiste, the ball carrier. Brought down by Bell and Altoff.
Third down and about 2. Beverly's back. Baptiste is still in there. And they'll go with 3 running backs. Baptiste split on the flank to the right. Forcade. Had a man in the end zone. He had Baptiste. And he couldn't hang on.
I think that was a good call, though. They were 3rd and short, and you'd think that maybe they would run the ball, but they really haven't been successful running the ball that well. They can pick up the half-yard or so, but that yard and a half was a long yard and a half.
There.
And he throws the ball right there. He did everything that he had to. That's what Forcade said. That's as good as I can do.
Kemp will try the field goal from 31 yards this time. And he got it. He's 2 for 3 today, and it's 17-13. Bears over New Orleans. 5:28 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 17-13, the Bears over New Orleans. The Saints just scored on a 31-yard field goal following a block punt by the man who's about to kick off, Florian Kemp. 17-13, 5:28 left, 3rd quarter. Kozlowski and Knapczyk back deep. Short kick this time. I mean, Kozlowski, well, it wasn't so short. All the way back to the 1. This guy's an exciting player.
Kozlowski returned the kickoff.
Mike Waters made the stop. Next Saturday, CBS Sports presents one of college football's greatest and oldest rivalries. USC Notre Dame. Live at 1:30 Eastern Time. That's what the two did yesterday, both with impressive wins. First and 10 Bears at their own 32. Darryl Black is now one of the running backs along with Kamuli.
A gain of 7. 2nd and 3. The Bears, 39.
2nd down and 3.
What a tough day for the runners.
It really has. You look at those numbers. The average yard a carry. Okay, here's a movie. That didn't help his average either. Bruce Clark.
Up easy, up easy, up easy.
There's officials in there saying, okay, up easy, up easy, up easy.
Break it, break it. Sounds like a fight referee.
Or wrestling. I heard one of the players last night at practice of the Bears, John Relt, was saying that he had a wrestling promoter call him during this thing. And he's thinking, if this thing's over and he doesn't have a job, maybe some of these offensive linemen here will go to pro wrestling.
3rd and 1. Didn't get it. Amuli again. Joe DeForest led the defense.
I'll tell you, the Saints won this one. Watch this battle here before all the talk. Watch the black jerseys go backwards in the middle. And that's where they try and run, and they just didn't get anything going.
Tony Elliott just caved things in the middle.
And the guy he caved in was Mark Rodenhauser, the center. He just knocked him back into the ball carrier.
Eric Martin has had some difficulty handling punts. Brown back to kick. Martin has a bead on this one. Gets it back outside the 35 to the 36. Mike January was down to cover for the Bears. A 33-yard punt. Return 10 by Eric Martin. The Bears leading 17-13. We're in the 3rd quarter with 3:21 remaining.
I'll tell you, I think you were right about Jim Morris saying that you just have the feeling that the Saints have the right guy. I think that combination of Jim Finks as general manager, Jim Morris head coach, I think they just ought to leave it alone and let him go.
Cade gets it out to Rodenberger. Enough for a first, a gain of 11. Jay Norvell on the stop. Bobby Bell with the assist. Kozlowski on the sideline. You can see why Mike Ditka is so fond of him.
I think so. I think he's one of the guys that no matter how many players they get together, he's one of the guys that's going to stay around in his career.
No flag. Malcolm Scott, the intended receiver, again Forcade under heavy pressure from Bobby Bell, or Bell out on the coverage as well.
I remember his dad, you know, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I tell you, he was a great player. He was number 78. He was all over the field. I mean, he was a linebacker. He'd blitz. He would cover. He would snap on punts. He was one of the best all-around athletes who ever played.
Wore the high-top shoes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Intended for Dawsey. And if he caught that, that is one heck of a catch. Now they say it's incomplete.
This is the thing that Forcade can do, is just move around a little, find an opening, and then step up and zip the ball in there. Of course, we see that he didn't hold on to it.
Egypt Allen is the injured Bear. That's the 2nd time for him to be helped off. We talked about Ditka and his staff and what a good job they've done. We asked Ken Kaplan, who's the offensive tackle for the Saints, about the preparation by the New Orleans coaching staff.
His staff is incredibly positive, but I think that has a lot to do with the situation, though. But they've prepared us incredibly. They've kept things basic, but I've never been more prepared. The first game I played when we played the Rams 2 weeks ago, I've never been more prepared in my life to play a game.
There's one of those guys, Kaplan, that will certainly benefit from these 3 games when they start paying off for the playoffs in the Super Bowl.
Well, you know, they're going to get, because anyone that played in 3 games is going to get a half a share of a championship and Super Bowl check. The other thing, a guy like Kaplan, anyone who's been in the league 3 years and then 3 games is going to qualify for a pension. A guy like Kaplan also has a pension money, and if a player played 3 games, then his team made the championship Super Bowl, they'd come up with $27,000.
Here's Forcade with some room. Incomplete. He's saying that his receiver was knocked down. And here comes the flag from the other side of the field.
Forcade talked him into it.
Did.
I'll tell you, he saw it all the way, and he started to point, and then the official bought it. Because the official came, the flag came from the other side of the field. The guy on this side didn't call it. So they're going to have one of those things you call a conference.
The ball could not be caught. Therefore, there's no foul, no interference.
I don't know who decided that it couldn't be caught. I don't know why that couldn't be caught. He tripped. Who are these guys to judge whether it could be caught or not?
Tell you what, the Saints have gotten the bad end of almost every call that's taken place today. Barnhart gets it off the side of its foot, but it gets a great bounce. Goes out of bounds at the Bears' 6-yard line. 47-yard punt, and that's what they net out of it. Next week here on CBS, the Giants will play St. Louis, Atlanta, Houston, Green Bay, Detroit. San Francisco plays these Saints. Dallas, Philadelphia. Tampa Bay will entertain the Bears. That's where John Madden and I will be. Bradley coming in as the quarterback on first down. Sean Payton standing down on the sideline by Mike Ditka.
Mike, he's having a great time with those quarterbacks. He's running in and out.
Kamuli hit and knocked backwards by Tony Elliott.
I think Kamuli and Beverly are going to get together after the game and say, boy, the running was tough in there today, huh?
Boy.
Watch Tony Elliott in there, 99. He's the nose tackle. Just takes on the center, throws him to the side, and here comes Kamuli. Well, they say, it's not supposed to be like this. There's not supposed to be big old walls up there.
2nd and 9. Incomplete. Intended for Knapczyk. That was Payton throwing. And here goes Bradley back in.
You see how Ditka sends it a play? He just grabs him by the shoulder and throws him in. Give me a new hunk of quarterback here. Here, this one. Whap. Now you'll grab the other one. And as he sends him in, he looks like he's mad at him.
3rd down. 10. 9 make it. Somebody was holding. No question about the holding.
Well, that's holding in the end zone. That'll be a safety. That's one of the dangers of throwing out of the end zone. If there is a penalty in holding in the end zone.
64 offense.
Well, they didn't call it. If it's in the end zone, that's a safety. I don't know that they've figured that out yet, but you will see 64 here. He's the right guard, just going out of the frame. Then he comes back in and he holds.
Holding, 64 offense. Half the distance to the goal line, still 3rd down.
If that was holding in the end zone, that's supposed to be a safety.
That's right.
I think they missed that one. Here you can see it down there. That was right at the goal line.
Chicago timeout.
Bears call a timeout. They only have one left. You remember the other one caused a stir over on the sideline.
There's a timeout On the field.
17-13. Mike Ditka thinking about and listening to Ed Hughes about his choice of the play to run.
Well, now they changed it. He put Payton in there with a play. Now I think he's going to change it and put Bradley in there.
It's third down, and the Bears are 0 for 9 on third down. If you get in a situation like this, too, John, that close to the goal line, if you do have to punt, and punter doesn't have as much room, and he's had problems all day.
Well, that's the thing. You know, when you're in there, you always try and get the ball out beyond the 5-yard line, because then that gives your punter the 15 yards. Right now, the punter would only have 12 yards. Well, he'd have 13 yards to the back line.
And don't you know they'd come after him?
Of course. You know, they've had success all day, and that would have to be, if they hold him here on this down, within the 5-yard line, that has to be automatic punt block.
3rd and 9. They are 0 for 9 on third down. Ball up in the air. Batted up in the air. And Larry McCoy got a hand up to deflect it. And now that situation arises.
I would be surprised, as I say, that the Saints don't go for a punt block here, because, one, the guy doesn't have the full 15 yards normally, and two, they've already had success coming free in the punt block.
They blocked 2.
And with a score 17-13, I don't think there's any reason to play safe.
Eric Martin standing out at the 35. They got all 10 other than Martin up there to rush. He got it out of there, and he got off a good kick. Martin handles it at the 40. Got 1 block. Well, there's the penalty flag again. He got 1 from behind. 1 block.
And you know that it has to be against the Saints.
Yep.
They really didn't go for the all-out punt block, and that surprises me. I would have definitely gone for that punt block there.
Illegal block in the back. Number 24, the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, and then a first down.
He got a 37-yard punt out of there. Martin returned at 10. They lost that 10 on the penalty.
Well, they've gotten the short end of the stick on these penalties. I mean, they've been not only killed by their special teams, but by the penalties today.
17-13, Bears lead, and Quartet on first down. Goes up the middle to Kirtland Thomas. He's down to the Bear 25. Mike January tripped him up, but a gain of 15.
Well, Forgate has this thing going, this slant play, you know, where he can hit that inside stuff, that underneath stuff quickly. They're lining up right now to go for it again.
On first down, he gets it outside to his tight end, Malcolm Scott. Almost broke a tackle. 22 seconds left in the third quarter.
They're going without a huddle.
That shows you some coaching has been done. There are the flags all over the place. 2nd and 6.
False start. 61 offense. 5 yards penalty. The ball was not snapped.
Another one against the Saints.
Well, they were trying to go with that quick offense with no huddle. And they did it for 2 plays, you know, where you have the whole series called. And then, of course, you get some linemen jumping off sides.
Clock still running, and they don't make it. Maybe they got the play started. Kirtland Thomas, the intended receiver, incomplete. George Duarte.
The period ended before this ball was snapped. Therefore, we'll replay the second down.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Bears 17, the Saints 13. We now pause for a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars. And by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
The chant of "Let's Go Bears" from this sizable crowd at Soldier Field. The Saints are on the move, but now they're moving against the wind. Second down and 11 from the 28. Forcade to Beverly on the draw play. Gets to the 25. Picked up 3. Mike Stoops made the stop. Third down.
Yeah, the blitz ran right by. Watch the blitz here. He's going to run right by the ball carrier. He's free. They get the blitz up the middle. Watch him. He comes free. Can't stand prosperity and runs right by the draw.
Third down. Forcade retreats. Malcolm Scott, the intended receiver. Forcade got up. One of the Bear players is down. For an NFL update, Brent Busser in New York.
Pat, the Atlanta Falcons have come back into the game early in the fourth quarter against the Rams. Pass interference, first and goal. Eric Kramer to Joe McIntosh. It's now 2014 Rams lead. Let's go back to Pat.
Back at Soldier Field, it's the Bears 17, the Saints 13. Saints will operate, as I said, against the wind. McInerney is the man who's down.
He's the leading sacker, Sean McInerney. He's the guy that has led the sack of this thing, and he was the guy chasing the quarterback. Watch him here. Has him. He has to step back. And then just before he hit him there, he looked like he twisted his left ankle.
Yes, he did. 42-yard field goal attempt coming up by Florian.
Right there, yeah. You just saw that the foot just go right over the ankle.
Someone jumped. It was 42 yards against the wind. Let's see how far it is now.
I've seen everything. We have referees wearing sweatbands now.
They got the rules written on there.
Gene Barth has it on his right wrist. Well, all the holding in the end zone for safety.
Fouls. The defense was in the neutral zone, made contact. The right offensive end moved, so we're going to offset the fouls.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care what they do. He said that happened up there, not back here where I am.
Again, it's 42 yards. High snap. That's got enough. That's good. Florian Kemp.
He's having a big day. You know, there's always a place for a kicker. It seems like kickers go around the league and they never make it the first team they go with. They have to go with like 3 or 4 teams and learn all that body language. You know, how to bend over and hug and do all that stuff. Then they finally stay.
Now he's got that sleeve on his left arm.
Well, I think he wanted to remind himself about keeping his head down and where his plant foot was.
Maybe it has something to do with which hash mark he's on.
You know, that could be. You know, to remind him his different angle. With kickers, you never know. I mean, those guys are a different breed.
Well, I know some. It's like Ray Wersching. He never looks at the goalpost. And when he gets out on the field, he says to Joe Montana, like almost a prayer, help me, help me.
Yeah, he's not going to look up. He's going to keep that head down, but they all have something. I mean, they kick cups and they do all that thing. I mean, when you were a kicker, you were a player too, but those guys, you don't have guys like that to kick it straight ahead. They sneak up on it from the side. None of them play any position.
And this guy is one of the leading sneakers. to about the 23-24. Return of 18. Darren Gottschalk is the man who made the stop. The Bears' lead has been cut to 1.
Yeah, you have to admire the Saints. I mean, they haven't really had a lot going for them today, and it seemed like every break that would come up would go against them, but they've just hung in there, and they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and here they are. They caught up within 1 point.
Kozlowski got hurt on that kickoff return, and he is limping off now. That may be just a cramp.
Looks, it's his right calf that he grabbed.
He's done a lot of running.
Good news is when you grab it, a cramp. Bad news would be a muscle pull. He's bending him a lot of different ways. He had a lot of bend in both those legs. Now they're carrying him off the field.
First and 10 for the Bears. At their own 24.
First and 10 Bears at their own 24. Steve Bradley, the quarterback. Saints are saying incomplete. The officials are saying is complete. Gary Mullen made the catch right off his shoe tops.
I'll tell you, that is a heck of a catch. He had to work back and in and down to the ball, and he caught that thing. That's pretty good. I mean, that was a good move. Coming back and working back to the ball.
Now it's Payton, the quarterback. Chris Brewer hammered. I'll tell you, there's some pretty good comments going back and forth out there.
Well, they got the two things going that you like down there. They got the good hitting followed by the good talking. Still working on Kozlowski down there in the bench.
2nd and 10. No gain for Brewer. And Bradley's now quarterback again. Ditka changing every play. Kozlowski. Nice snapsack.
Hey, that was Steve Bradley threw that one in there, though. That was a pretty good throw. Seems like both quarterbacks and the teams have had some success throwing that inside pass. Knapsack does a nice job of getting in there and turning his body, but he paid for it as a result. He got up there in the air, turned his body, and then it looked like he came down right on his back. Sometimes you do something that's a nice job and you pay for it.
You think about pressure on everybody to win and perform well. We talked to Mark Rodenhauser, number 51 right there, the center, and asked him if he felt that pressure.
If we came in and lost all the games, people would be saying, oh, those are the replacements that blew it for the Bears. I think it's a personal pride thing. We came in here, we wanted to win. The coaching staff brought us in here to win. They felt that we were people who could win for them. And with that responsibility on our shoulders, we want to just strap it up and play ball and win.
3rd and 1. His longest run of the day, and the Bears' first 3rd down conversion of the day.
It was a pretty good deal there. They got behind John Wojciechowski and Jack Oliver over there in that left side. And that's the best side in their offensive line. Watch your blocking there. See Wojciechowski, he pulls out, gets that good block right there, and that was the one that sprung him.
1st and 10 Bears at the Saint 43. Looked like he might get more for a moment. Stopped by Milton Mack after a pickup of 4.
Had a little block that time from Chris Brewer. The other running back was leading him out there. And finally, we're softening this thing up. We've been banging in there all day and coming up with nothing. We're finally getting them softened up a little here.
2nd and 6. is Darrell Clark. They just are taking Kozlowski off on the golf cart back toward the Bear locker room. So obviously it's more than a cramp.
It is. A lot of times, of course, they take them in there, as we know, for x-rays. Every stadium has to have an x-ray machine, which was a great idea.
Third down and 3. Scott Leach led the defense, the third sack by the Saints by Pat Swoops.
Well, the Saints have the same idea here. If you get them in a passing down, go for the all-out blitz. Don't give them a chance and just swarm them like that. And I think Bradley just looked and he saw the rush coming. He didn't even try and throw the ball after that. What's he going to do?
So Kevin Brown, Kevin Martin. Kevin Brown gets off behind. Eric Martin lets it go. And it goes into the end zone.
The touchback will give the Saints first and 10.
So with 9:52 left to play, it's the Bears 17, the Saints 16. 9:52 left fourth quarter in the football game. That's what's happened so far. The Bears have gotten 17 points off 3 New Orleans turnovers, and that's their total. They've been held to 67 yards rushing, and Florian Kemp is 3 out of 4. Kicked 3 long field goals. What's your impression so far of the game? Is it as good as you thought?
I think it's about like I thought, that if someone's going to win it, they're going to win it with their defense or special teams. 17-16, I still feel that same way, that really the defense is ahead of the offense. Neither one of them can really stay consistent. So he who comes up with a big play in defense will win this in the fourth quarter.
First down, Saints. Wide Beverly. Gain of 6, stopped by John Norris.
Brought down by Norris.
John Forcade has been under pressure by the Bear blitzing all day long. Second down and 4. Beverly again, he had some blocking this time. He'll have a first down. Mike January made the stop, a gain of 4. He gets it just outside the 30, and that'll be enough for a first.
A gain of 5.
That's one thing that I always felt, that sometimes you can't get running in the first half, that you have to run, you have to beat on them a little, and then you get them softened up, slowed down, and then it can come in the second half.
And you can stop some of that blitzing. That's Batiste. Jim Altoff on the stop. Seattle 37. And in that Seattle victory, Steve Largent caught 3 touchdown passes, 15 receptions for 261 yards. The 15 receptions, the yardage, both Seattle club records. 2nd and 7. Waters held on this time right at midfield, a pickup of 15. Bruce McCray stopped it.
Waters does well. Look, he's the second tight end in the outside. He's going to come in, and now he has to come under control. He's going down to both knees, and he makes a catch back to his side. That was a pretty good adjustment. Being able to come under control, slow down, go down to your knees, and shield the defender off.
First down, Saints at midfield. They trail by a point. Forcade to Baptiste. Mike Stoops on the stop.
What the Saints need here is they need another first down or two, and then they'll be in field goal range. Of course, in the way Kempf is kicking here, that's about as good as you need.
Just over 7 minutes remaining. 2nd and 8.
They still have that Bear defense to contend with to get those 2 first downs.
For Kane as Eric Martin, and Martin has the ball. Flag down, the flag on the play, and it's got to be holding.
I think it's against the Bears.
Maybe it is.
I think it could be.
Illegal use of the hands on number 96 defense. A push to the face. Penalty refused. First down.
Greg Fitzgerald, number 96, but the Saints have it in good shape.
I tell you have that penalty back there, and you forget about the catch that Eric Martin made. I tell you, it was a stop and go. You see, he runs the stop, then get the defender to come up, and then Eric Martin just caught that ball off the top of his helmet.
That could have been 6 very easily. They're at the 20. Straight ahead to about the 15th.
Tackled by Duke and Bobby Bell. A gain of 5. Second is 5.
Mike Ditka's saying we need that defense now. That defense we're talking about, we need a turnover here because they're in definite, darn near automatic field goal range.
Here's Forcade. One thing he doesn't want is the interception. Stacy Dawsey, the intended receiver. Egypt Allen was the nearest defender.
Dawsey had him. That was that same pattern that Eric Martin ran for a touchdown, that slant corner. He's trying to get Dawsey back in the huddle now to see if he can give him some more instructions, but he ran a pretty good pattern. Maybe that wasn't the one he was supposed to run.
Could be.
It looked good from here.
3rd and 5. Martin is wide left, Dawsey wide right. Flag is down. It was intended for Martin. And it's going to be against the Bears, against Bruce McRae.
Interference, 31 defense. First down.
31 is McRae. Now, he doesn't look back. You see, he's looking into Eric Martin, and now when he turns around, he had already bumped him before the ball got there. Well, I don't know. That ball looked like it was out of bounds anyway, didn't it?
It's 1st and goal at the 5. The unbeaten Bears. That record in jeopardy. Saints are 2-2. Rodenberger. He just got to the line of scrimmage.
Didn't get his half yard, or just about got his half yard on that. Yeah, I'm wondering right now what the regular Bears and the regular Saints are thinking. I mean, they say these games are going to count. I think they have a suit-up between the National Labor Relations Board, maybe regarding this game. But what are they doing right now? Are they rooting for the Saints to get in and the Bears to stop them, or what? Or do they care? I don't know.
It's down after another yard and a half.
I think somewhere Jim Morrow ought to take a shot here because you have the field goal, and I think instead of just running another play, he's run 2 plays in here. I think you ought to take this 3rd down to take a shot into the end zone. Because just to run a 3rd down and not make a touchdown after kick a field goal doesn't make a lot of sense.
They haven't been able to run all day. And they got another Saint player down.
There's a timeout on the field.
The Bears lead it by 1 with 4:47 left.
Come from work, you know I'm tired of beat. Try to make some supper, but I can't even eat. Jump in the shower, watch the world from my back. Gotta get you, baby, that's a natural fact. In the night time, that's the right time. I wanna be
Delta Airlines flight attendant Irene Lockwoody loves to fly.
Are you still here? My son was supposed to meet me.
Well, I'll wait with you.
That kid is always late.
What she loves most are the people she meets.
He must have gotten caught in the rain.
He was even born late.
Irene is what Delta's all about.
Irene.
Yes?
Are you married?
Yep. 2 kids.
Late again, Joey.
You love to fly and it shows.
What does this ski resort in the Alps have in common with?
This rooftop restaurant in Rome.
Or this medieval dining room.
And this California windmill.
They're all part of the world's largest lodging chain and instant reservation system, Best Western, with distinctively different hotels joining our family all the time. Best Western, the right place to stay at the right price all over the world. So call us now.
Call 1-800-528-1234. Best Western, 1.
A classic rivalry. 2 teams that inspire the best in each other. USC battles Notre Dame, ignited by Heisman frontrunner Tim Brown, next Saturday on CBS Sports.
4:47 left. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Soldier Field, Chicago, where the Bears lead the Saints, but just by 1. And the Saints are at the Bear 3. Now, the Saints want to call a timeout. Maybe they were going to take a shot.
I don't understand that, why you take a timeout after a timeout. I mean, how you can get confused. You just had the whole timeout to do this. And then they call it and they take a timeout. I don't understand that. But who says you can understand anything that's happening this season?
No.
I think 87 is going to be the football season and nothing made sense, starting with a strike.
To 17, Rams over Atlanta. Seattle 37-14 over Detroit. Green Bay and Philadelphia are now in overtime. That's the 2nd consecutive week. Gary Danielson hit 25 out of 31 for Cleveland. Pittsburgh 21, Indianapolis 7, New England 21, Houston 7. The Jets beating Miami rather handily now. Tampa Bay 20-10 over Minnesota. John Madden and I will be at Tampa next week when the Bears go there. Almost everyone thought the crowds would be larger today. 46,813 here. Cincinnati drew over 40, 35 in Green Bay, Pittsburgh 34. Didn't do so well everywhere, but attendance is up.
You know what was interesting, Pat? During that timeout, they took Bruce Clark. There he is, number 75, and they put him in as tight end on offense.
Orcade. Incomplete. He had a man in the end zone. It was Eric Martin, Egypt.
I think that was the thing the Saints had to do, though, is come down there on 3rd down. Malcolm Scott, their tight end, went out with an injury, so they needed 2 tight ends. So they brought in Bruce Clark, their defensive player, put him at the other tight end. Then they rolled away from him, but they needed a tight end. I think that's why they took the timeout. They used Bruce Clark. He does a pretty good job. That's away from the play. But they had that option pass to run. It didn't work, and now they go for the field goal.
Egypt Allen was the Bear defender. This one is from 21 yards. Reardon holding. Florian Kemp trying to kick his 4th field goal of the day. The hole's good. The kick is good. And the Saints take the lead for the first time. 19-17. 4.5 minutes remain in the game. Florian Kemp with 4 field goals. Norvell is up and moving around. Number 91. He had been the injured Bear. Injured on the field goal attempt. Interesting score. New England beat Houston 21-7. That's the final. Doug Flutie was 15 out of 25 for 199 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, that this week the Bears traded Flutie to New England. Mike Ditka said New England called up and wanted Flutie. They initiated that, and so they made the trade. I think it was based more on the good news that Jim McMahon is really back close to 100% more than anything else.
Eldridge Milton was the Bear lineman who returned or attempted to return that kick, that low kick by Kemp. Pittsburgh beat Indianapolis 21-7. That's final. It's the one I just told you about with Flutie. So long, Doug, being Flutie. Good luck in New England. The Bears behind 19-17 have 4 minutes and 24 seconds to recapture the lead. Steve Bradley, the quarterback. Back to throw. And Chris Brewer open. He couldn't hang on. This game is presented by the authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd and 10. Caught by Brewer. From Payton. And Brewer gets into same territory. Reggie Sutton knocked him out of bounds. For another NFL update, let's take you back to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Pat, Atlanta has come back to take the lead on Los Angeles. It was Eric Kramer again with another touchdown pass. Good protection. A breakdown in the secondary. Lenny Taylor all alone. And it's 23-20. They add the extra point, make it 24 back to Pat.
19-17 here. Bradley back to throw. Intercepted. And he was out of bounds. Scott Leach is the man who came up with it. It was batted into the air. Intended for Knapczyk.
You see what the officials said? They said hold the spot because they know that this is going to be checked. The ball's bounced up in the air. Does he catch it in bounds? 1 foot. Nope, the second foot was out of bounds. Look at this. The ball's going to be bounced, tipped up in the air. That guy going for the interception. The first foot was in, the second foot was out. So the Bears dodged one there.
2nd and 10. Payton, the quarterback. Here's hit and sacked and lost the ball. The Bears get it back. 4 sacks by the Saints. Antonio Gibson and Larry McCoy.
I'll tell you, Larry McCoy came from the right side here, and he doesn't even see him. He just comes right here. Payton turned right here. He's whapped here. No one blocks him at all. Look at him as the outside man there. Just comes inside. 2 guys double Clark. No one blocks McCoy, and he welcomes Payton helmet to helmet, paint to paint.
3rd down and 15. Bradley out of the sprint, chase and sack. Again, it's Larry McCoy.
Jack Oliver was blocking him. McCoy is a linebacker. Now he gets down here as a defensive lineman. He's going right here against Oliver trying to block him. He wins that battle and gets the sack. Jack Oliver's number 71. McCoy starts to the outside, gives him the inside rip, just runs right by him and comes up with a sack. That could be the game-winning sack right there.
Evan Brown back to punt. Eric Martin back deep for the Saints. Another good kick. Chases Martin all the way to the 5 where he drops the ball and falls on it this time. That's 3. He is mishandled today.
And that could be a game-losing fumble up there because now with the Bears defense, what they have to do is put the pressure on them, and they can come up maybe with a turnover or at least with good field position out of this. Eric Martin tends to make this an exciting game.
He does.
I don't know that inside the 10, he should have even tried to field that ball. Had he just let it go, maybe it would have gone in the end zone. And the way he's catching them anyway, it's always a thrill.
Rodenberger. Stopped by Jay Norvell.
You know, I think one thing that Bear fans have to think of is the Bears have already used 2 timeouts. So they want to put out the pressure, but they would also like to have some timeouts to get this ball back and to try and win this game.
By the way, the word on Kozlowski is that they x-rayed his leg. They think it's broken. And he has been taken from Soldier Field to the hospital. Second down. 9. Beverly. Behind the line of scrimmage. Batiste was the ball carrier. Sorry.
Well, the Bears are putting that pressure on. Now they're going to get a timeout before the 2-minute warning. So they use their last timeout now. Then they'll get one more for the 2-minute warning. And then, of course, one at the change of possession.
Darren Gilbert, the offensive left tackle for the Saints, was limping around on that last play. He's still in the game, however, and seems to be okay.
Darren Gilbert is one of those guys who is a regular player that crossed the picket line. He is not a starter. He is the 3rd tackle for the Saints.
There's Michael McCaskey, the leader of the Bears, down on the sideline. You know, whether it's players we talk to or it's ownership, management, or coaches that we talk to, everybody says this should have never happened. We should have never been on strike. Everybody's sorry about the whole situation. And the ones that are really caught in the middle are the coaches.
Well, they are, because there's nothing they can do about it. In the Bears case and Mike Ditka's case, he's been coaching since Thursday 2 teams. His regular team came back in Thursday. They practiced Thursday night, Friday, even yesterday. He coached his regular players in the morning, coached this group at night, playing them in the game today. And as you say, they're caught in the middle. There's been a frustrating time.
Well, the players, a lot of them are not sure where the coaches' sympathies are even. And I think that's one of the things that's really sad about it.
And it didn't have to happen.
Forcade on a rollout is taken down at the 6. Bruce McCray stayed home.
And that'll be the 2-minute warning. They'll get that. And then after that, they'll get another timeout and change of possession.
There's Gilbert. Saints by 2. Bears put the pressure on. He gets it out of there. Frank Harris. Bears lets it bounce. It goes out of bounds. Something happened.
They kicked and snapped the ball before they're ready for play. We got to do it over.
The umpire wasn't standing on the ball. They didn't give him the ready to play. The Saints just snapped the ball.
Put 8 seconds back on the clock. It should be 2 minutes even.
Usually the umpire stands on the ball and doesn't let him snap it. The center must have just taken it away from him and snapped it.
Don't you think this makes the Bears and their fans happy? And Tommy Barnhart unhappy, because he's got to do it all over again. And they're going to come after him again. He got off a better kick. Well, the result was just about the same. Frank Harris down on the far side of the field, back at about the Saint 45. A 49-yard kick that time by Barnhart. Under heavy pressure.
Well, they played all day, and it's going to boil down to this. The Bears really need a couple of first downs to get in field goal range. The Saints have to stop them from a couple of first downs with 1:50 left. No timeouts for the Bears.
Payton's the quarterback on first down. He gets it inside to Chris Brewer. He gets out of bounds. The Bears have the wind at their back. A gain of 7. Stop the clock with 1:45 remaining.
You know, it's funny that both coaches said before the games that with these teams, this is about as good as we can get. And I think that we really have a pretty well-played game today.
Payton stays at quarterback. Pass intended for Brian Glasgow. Antonio Gibson on the tackle. New Orleans leads Chicago 19-17. We're in the fourth quarter at Soldier Field with 1:42 remaining, and the Bears out of timeouts. And those of you who watched Green Bay beat Philadelphia 16-10 in overtime, welcome to the audience here. Tim Lasher is the Bears place kicker. Flag is down. Pass is picked off by Reggie Sutton. Sutton still on his feet, but remember, there's a penalty marker down.
Payton's pass was intercepted by Reggie Sutton.
The way the Saints are going, it's
Illegal
against the
motion
Bears.
number 88 of the offense was not set. Penalty refused. First down.
Saints will take over now. The Bears out of timeouts. They can't stop the clock. 1:31 left to play.
Well, that's the play of the defense. You can see Knapsick there is still getting set. He was moving out. I think he was trying to hear an audible. He was moving out. He wasn't set. He was the guy that the ball was thrown to. Reggie Sutton followed him all the way and picked it off. That was a big defensive play.
Reggie Sutton's had a big day. Yes. John Forcade just kneels. The Bears again are out of timeouts. The Saints have 2, but that's not a factor. And the clock will keep running. And the Bears will lose their first. Don't forget to stick around for the post-game show. Go back to the studio for a rundown of the scores with Brent. Interview with Dan Gladden, who hit that grand slam home run last night for the Minnesota Twins in the World Series. Scores and highlights. John and I'll be talking to John Forcade. The Saints will improve their record to 3-2 under Jim Mora. The Bears will drop to 4-1.
So it's interesting that after this, I guess it's been 5 weeks of play, there's no undefeated team in the NFL. Bears, of course, were the last. They were the only team today. Saints picked up a victory. You have to respect the way they hung in there against this Bear team here in Chicago. Mike Ditka's surprised that anyone could favor him with no players, but I thought that they both did a good job today, both teams.
Please check the seating area around you as you leave the stadium. Make sure you
That'll do it. And as far as we know, that's the end of the 3 weeks of play by the replacement teams. John Forcade hit 16 out of 34 for 198 yards, 1 touchdown, the only one that the Saints scored, and 1 interception. And I agree with the assessment. Again, on the subject of Forcade, he can play in the NFL.
Well, you know, he's the type of guy that just needed an opportunity. I guess coming out of college, they thought he was too cocky. And I remember saying that I think that's good. I think cocky for a quarterback is good. You think back to the quarterbacks like Bobby Lane and Norm Van Brocklin, and you think of, you know, Joe Namath. Kenny State, all those guys had that cocky thing. And I'm not saying that John Forcade is in that class, but I don't think that cocky is negative in a quarterback.
I don't either. Plus, it's obvious he has the leadership qualities that you need.
I think that's the type of thing that, comes out of this replacement football. And I don't know that anyone says it was good, anyone says it was needed, but it did give some players opportunities and guys that are going to take those opportunities, and they're going to be in the NFL for a long time.
John, I thought it was interesting. We were talking with Mike Ditka yesterday about his regular team, the regular Bears, who came back and worked out, what, 3 times this week?
3 times, yeah. They worked out Thursday night, Friday, and then they worked out yesterday morning.
And he said they looked great. And Jim McMahon was throwing well.
And he said the biggest difference, though, is they have the speed and quickness that these other guys don't have.
For John Madden, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Soldier Field in Chicago, where the final score was the Saints 19, Chicago 17. Stay tuned for the NFL Today, the post-game show with Brent Musburger. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.